Good morning everyone, and welcome back to the Doomlink's Live Hunt series. It is a Saturday morning for me, therefore it is a Friday evening, or perhaps even early, very early, Saturday morning for Europe. Therefore, I actually have people to play with. This is the time when I should be coming online. Recently I have been neglecting to do that. I've been spending my weekend mornings doing other things, so by the time I actually come online here, it can be mid to late afternoon, which is far less ideal for me, given my time zone in relation to these people. I'm currently in a room waiting for these people to return. Well, waiting for this particular room of people to return. I was referring to the entirety of the European player base when I previously used the phrase, these people, which probably isn't a very friendly way to refer to them. Sounds a little dismissive, doesn't it? It gives me some time to discuss the beverage that I'll be drinking today, as well as to get a few preliminary acknowledgments out of the way. Speaking of which, I suppose if I'm going to call it preliminary, I should mention it first and foremost. I would like to extend my thanks to every person who ended up watching that, I think it was part 184 live stream that was uploaded to YouTube, which was picked up by the algorithm. Those of you who subscribed on YouTube and furthermore followed me on Twitch after having watched that deserve my thanks. I do thank you for that, and it's refreshing to get the occasional video that is picked up by the algorithm, because it does give you a little bit of a push forwards as far as establishing a viewer base. But yeah, second thing that I wanted to mention, just to move on from that, because I'm not going to start gushing about how lovely you all are, because I don't know any of you, but I appreciate the, I suppose, recognition that you have shown me in subscribing and following. The second thing that I want to discuss is, well, not even discuss, really draw your attention to briefly, and then we'll move on to things relating to beverages and such, which seems to be a bit of a theme of my videos, understandably. You can see that this switch axe that I have equipped right now is, well, fully upgraded. Perhaps you can't see it there, but I can show you. It is fully upgraded. The Stygian Ender axe, you can see that the stats are pretty good. This is what I was trying to make for a while. The reality of this thing, to be honest, is that I'm not entirely sure if I want to be using Awaken with it, because it already has a Dragon Vial, you see. And using Awaken may not be worth it, just to get 100 dragon damage on the axe mode only. So I'm going to have to work out how I feel about that in general, but what I will say is that yesterday I got my last black blood to make this, so yeah, I really don't have to worry so much about dragging you all along to any more Savage Devil Joe hunts. I'm sure to an extent they are entertaining to watch, but the reality is that if I keep doing the same monsters on camera, it is going to get a little bit repetitive, so I fortunately do not have to do that anymore. It is only on rare occasions when I'm going to really work towards getting something in particular in this game. I think the weapon prior to this one that I was trying to get was the Dragon's Roar. That one is a switch axe that I suppose is more visual than functional, but it's still decent, like it's still a reasonable weapon. It's one that I would be willing to use, and a weapon that I wouldn't feel underpowered while using. But yeah, that is the Stygian Ender axe, I think it's called. You'd think I'd remember it, yes. These people have just returned from a quest. We have been informed by Dingles that he, well, I suppose not explicitly, but rather implicitly informed by Dingles that he has no specific desire to hunt any monster in particular, and is willing to have us post whatever we would like. I think naturally the opportunity should go to the lowest hunter rank. Oh, goodness me. The opportunity to post should go to the lowest hunter rank because, as one would imagine, the lowest hunter rank is probably most in need of people to help them with things. Most in need of things to do as well. This is what you fucking post? I'm asking him not in a condescending fashion, but literally as a question. I need to know if he knows what this quest is, because this is not the first time that I have had a lower hunter rank person post Descent into Hades innocently. So he has acknowledged that he doesn't know what the quest is. I'm just letting him know that if he actually wants materials from this monster, this is not the quest to do it. It is inefficient. It is an inefficient use of time. Hello, Kodoku. Oh, speaking of which, oh. Oh, right. So it's caffeinated again. Good to see you. Yeah, I was surprised to see you turn up yesterday, but sadly you couldn't hang around. But yeah, of course, it's not in this guy's interest to be doing the event. I just remembered that I had neglected to let my Discord viewers know that I was going live, so I will have to fix that now. I'm going to have to stop writing, and I have stopped writing going live momentarily for when I've forgotten to inform my audience and I'm currently live while sending out the notification. My notification system needs not be so rigid that I have to say momentarily when I'm already live and have been for several minutes. It's good to stick to a standard, but that's silly. Yeah. Well, it is the morning for me, but Fang, you're dead in the land arena. Really? How hard is it to choose a decent quest, man? Do you want Stygian Zinogre stuff? Then we can do Stygian Zinogre. Why do you have to go from, like, one of the hardest event quests in the first 4 generations of Monster Hunter to a boring double land arena quest? I don't like land arena hunts. If you're wondering why I'm so displeased with what's been posted. I'm really not a fan. I'll bring a gun lance. Sure, we'll stick with this one. I would like to bring a smoke bomb, but to be completely honest, I'm too lazy. Like, I just couldn't be bothered. I cannot bring myself to even coordinate the team to use smoke bombs. If someone ends up doing it, then great. I'm happy to go along with that, but yeah, it's very annoying. My beverage today... Hello, bread users. I'm pretty sure I did say hello to you as well, Kodoku. Beverage today is sherry. I've never had sherry on camera before, and for that reason, I will be drinking it out of a glass that I've never shown on camera before. I usually have a glass that I allocate to different beverage types, you see. Just feels nice, feels right. The glass today is this one. It's appropriate for fortified wine. Of course, sherry is a type of fortified white wine. May not necessarily be white, but it is, you know... If you were to taste it, you'd realize that it is, unless it's a really sweet one, definitely a white wine. The one that I have today is Barbadillo. It is apparently a medium dry blend of Amontillado, and I don't know why I used that inflection. That was strange. It's not Italian, and even if it were Italian, that would be bad. So, Amontillado. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm not Spanish. Do I seem Spanish to you? Because I'm not. We're going to pour this before we begin, because it's important, okay? Hello, A Gaming. The colour of this is actually quite reminiscent of brandy, and I suppose that would be people's initial impression if they were to see it. Anyway, cheers. Wow. Very different flavour to the one that I had yesterday. It was also Barbadillo, but it was drier again than this one. This is just medium dry. I don't know if I have a preference yet. I think they both stand on their own as good sherries, but anyway. I did send it. Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm sure. I will try to send you a link. Sorry, I'm derailing the live stream to send this. Alright. Sorry, just one of my YouTube viewers needed an invite link to the server. Well, it's good to see that everyone's sort of all over the place here. By the looks of it, it does appear that we are focusing on this one. Or at least it did appear. It seems that Ken has no desire to commit. Is he using thunder weapons? I thought I saw thunder effects with his weapon, in which case... Why are you people... Oh, I see. Dingles is using that greatsword as a raw greatsword. Every time I see people use that greatsword, I go to say, that is an inappropriate elemental choice, and then I remember that people actually use the Devil Joe greatsword as a raw greatsword in this game. It's not a bad choice, necessarily, it's just that I'm used to it being a dragon weapon, but in this game you, I believe, require Awaken to actually... Oh, for goodness sake. I do believe that you... Thank you for that, Doomlink. I do believe that you require Awaken for it. In fact, you definitely do. I need to be more confident in my impressions. Ken sees fit to solo that one. He is certainly welcome to. Carlos is using an actual dragon weapon, a weapon that really has no use outside of, you know, dealing damage to dragon-susceptible monsters, but he has chosen to use that. Dingles is dead. What a great hunt so far. Of course, very little desire has been shown by the team, and I am included in this, of actually using a smoke bomb strategy. It is not a requirement, but it bloody helps. It's just cleaner, it's faster, it's more enjoyable as well. Keeping my shield raised just in case those dragon orbs come my way. I'm not very interested in that. Alright, I hope you enjoy the VOD. Pea-berry muffin is the way that I will refer to you for now. Perhaps I shouldn't be taking a drink at this sort of time. It is a tumultuous moment in the hunt where we're essentially being backed into a corner, or at least I am. So maybe I shouldn't be taking a drink, you know. Taking a drink is usually something you do when you have a moment of opportunity to do so, and I have had no such moment of opportunity. Just barely had enough time to shield that attack after being effectively stuck in an animation, which was the shooting of the gun animation. That was lovely and blinding. So perhaps not so lovely after all. Unless you somehow find being unable to see pleasant. Oh my god. Why can't you people fucking commit? Fucking Dingles, asshole. I cannot stand people who cannot commit to the same monster. I understand, I think, why Ken is attacking that one, because I believe he has a thunder weapon, so it's sensible for him to do that, but as far as Dingles changing targets just as a matter of weak convenience, that's just extremely frustrating. There's no need to split up into two groups, in my opinion. But whatever. a bit of commitment to the strategy really does make a fucking difference to the hunt. But anyway, speaking of which, oh, for goodness sake, I have not actually wyvern fired at any point during this hunt. Again, it's a habit that I sometimes have to pull myself back into, which is to say, the habit of always using wyvern fire. I've had to pull myself back into it because games such as Generations Ultimate really do make me less inclined to just wyvern fire immediately. Or to seek to do so. I'm actually just not paying attention to the Stygian Zinogre whatsoever because I want to remain focused on the standard Zinogre, but yeah, I'm getting messed around a little bit by the Stygian. That's cinematic, I guess. That'd be a good thumbnail for the VOD, I would say. Dingles has died for a second time, despite being, I believe, Hunter rank 200 and something. I don't know what the fuck he's actually doing, because as far as I was concerned, in that moment, no monster was doing anything really dangerous. Or damage dealing, for that matter. So I really don't know what was going on there. If he feels it necessary, I'm perfectly happy for him to remain at camp, because that sort of behavior, that sort of performance really is not helping anyone. Not really the quest that I would have chosen, and I think that was fairly obvious from the start, but I do want to at least fucking succeed. That would be nice. Oh, for God's sake. Sometimes Stygian really needs to just fuck off, you know? See, at this moment I'm in the thick of it, but I'm not going to allow myself to die under these circumstances even. This guy, and by this guy I mean Zinogre, he's been exhausted for a while now. Feels like a good minute and a half at least. Oh god. Sadly, I'm bouncing off the tail, and if I'm not bouncing off the tail, I'm ending up on my hands and knees from this Switch Axe Wonder Boy over here. Trying to keep away from that. Carlos, on the other hand, well, unreservedly and pig-headedly attacking the monster. Probably greeding for a flinch, but it's very unlikely if the monster is going for the level 3 charge. Carlos is about to die, and, you know, that's his thing. He is stunned with literally no fucking health. This is rare. When was the last time you saw this? I've never seen the ability to continue moving around during quest failure. Have you seen that? After all my hours of playing this game, never seen that. Anyway, I just... For fuck's sake. If the team's too lazy to do the smoke bomb strategy, one would hope the team is good enough to handle 2 monsters simultaneously. It's quite obvious that they are not capable of that. And what I hope is that these guys are good enough sports to either give it another try, or at least give some other quest another try. If this were the Generations Ultimate community, the whole team would have cleared out of the room in a huff. Post again if you want, says Dingles, which is, to be honest, a pretty... well, he's got quite some hide, doesn't he? Saying, post again if you want, after having twice died, and having failed to apologise for either death. That's kind of... I don't really know how to describe it. I feel like it speaks for itself, doesn't it? At least his insistence to try again is there. I would prefer that to the opposite, which would be, I'm not doing that quest again. I'm leaving, or something like that. Oh, you're going to watch the stream? Okay. Well, there you go. Live with Doomlink. Now, I don't want to use a gun lance because I feel that under these circumstances, unless we... You know what, no. Let's not have a repeat of the same situation. Let's actually use the smoke bomb strategy. It's not difficult to do, it's just I wasn't in the mood. But after having experienced that blowout, I am somewhat in the mood. That's not how we do this, Doomlink. You have to be out of this screen to type. I hope we're all on the same page about this, by the way. Sometimes you can say, I'll smoke bomb, and then they just don't actually care, and they'll attack the other monster. I'll bring a slime weapon, maybe. Dingles has acknowledged what I've said, which is helpful. I could bring status for a change. Perhaps even status sword and shield. Ken's response to my, smoke bomb strategy, I wouldn't really call it a request, it was a statement that I asserted to the team that I will be doing smoke bombs. So Ken's response to that was, but I can't see. I've played with this guy before, this Dingles guy. This is not the first time I've seen someone repeatedly use the word booty in such a juvenile fashion. I remember that distinctly, just not the name Dingles, but this must be the person. Big butts in the fog, lol. When it's making me scowl instead of smile, it's probably not funny. Anyway, I will use Paralysis Sword and Shield. I believe that I have one fully upgraded. I hope that I have one fully upgraded. If I don't, then that's... Here we go. Coctua Bulgang. Which is what? I don't even know what this is. Is it? Whatever it's called. Gobel. I'm familiar with a different weapon design for the Gobel Paralysis Sword and Shield, but this presumably is Gobel, or is this... It could also be Baleful Giganox, I don't know, but... Anyway, hello Beta. Yeah, I mean, obviously it is far from unusual to be getting into a group of really eccentric hunters in this community. Sometimes they can be eccentric in a good way, and other times in a bad way. Zor got booty, says Dingles. Okay, well, I think we've all got posteriors. I think that would be a natural thing for all humans to possess. I would be severely concerned if any of us were lacking a rump. And I don't want to see what that would look like. It would furthermore be quite difficult to sit down. So I've got Exchanger and Pyro. I need to ensure that I actually bring the smoke bombs that I said that I would bring. In addition to that, I must use them effectively, or at least attempt to do so to the best of my ability. I hope we're all on the same page. I don't have any paintballs, by the way. and not that I need them for this hunt necessarily, but... Oh, taking a nice swig. Because I don't think I'll be having a drink for a little while. Don't you fucking run in here with me, man. Don't you dare. I don't know how they spawn, I don't know. Fuck's sake! See, it's luck of the draw sometimes. Great. So now we're going to have this situation again. I mean, which one are we attacking? I'm seeing two people jumping on... Okay, so I was seeing two people jumping on Stygian, now I'm seeing two people possibly attacking Standard. I'm going to watch and see... you know what? Restart, asks Dingles. Nah, not really. I don't want to be embarking on this quest for a third time. I think that's... it's a little bit unnecessary. Okay. Oh, so it's a mixture of Gobel and Giganox parts. So we've got a shock trap down. It's going to affect some monster. One of two monsters will be affected by this trap. Who knows? I hope you've got a detonation planned at the moment. This guy's charging himself up. Dingles has, you know, killed himself. Not actually killed himself. He has blown himself up. Thank you for the upswing, you clown of a human being. The upswing, as I've mentioned many times before, and I don't mean to be repetitive, it is an attack that should not even exist in your attack options. It should not be there. You just pretend it's not there, please. It has shit motion value. Its only purpose, really, is to get you into the infinite axe chop. And the infinite axe chop sucks. So just stop. Well, no, technically it does have a purpose, which is the verticality of the strike. Maybe if a monster is flying, but I think we can all agree that no monsters will be flying during this quest. So yeah, the upswing can seriously fuck off. Now, what I'm frustrated about is that we're not all here attacking the same monster, which means that when I do paralyze this monster, only 2 out of 3 hunters are going to be able to get their full damage in. As a paralysis user, I'm technically foregoing damage at this stage to deal my paralysis. And that is the balance of paralysis weapons, you see. But I'm actually foregoing damage just so that 2 out of 3 people can get in and deal their damage. It's extremely annoying. I don't trust you for a second, except that he jumped past my shield, so there was every possibility that he would have ended up. We're about to get a paralysis, and I don't even know if we're ready for it. Oh, look at this! Everyone's coming in and attacking as a group. You never know, maybe they're lurking the live stream, or at least Dingles might be, I don't know. You never know sometimes. It's a small community, a lot of them know me. Damn it. I have to say, Zinogre must have pretty good paralysis resistance. There's no other explanation for the fact that he still hasn't been paralyzed, to be honest. I've attacked him a decent amount. It would stand to reason that Zinogre would be resistant to paralysis, but seriously, this is, in practice, unsustainable. To make up for my lack of raw damage, I will aim for the face. I'm in the crook of his neck at the moment. Ken is just utterly contemptuous in his use of Demon Dance, despite the fact that I'm standing right there trying to deal my damage. I mean, he's not even being specific in where he's attacking the monster. He's just mindlessly Demon Dancing and then flinches me while I'm actually attacking the head. I'm perfectly happy to move away from the head for you to Demon Dance the head, but that's not what you were doing. You were standing on my position to the right of me and just flinching me, preventing me from dealing decent damage while you were hitting something that wasn't even a weak point. So what precisely was the strategy you were deploying in that moment? Anyway, I don't know, I grow weary of this team. That's all I can say. Ugh. Well, we've had our paralysis for this Zinogre. He will no doubt die before I can get a second one off. Okay, I can see precisely nothing right now. I don't know if that's going to be a charge. It is. That's why I had my shield raised. For good measure. There are going to be some dragon orbs coming my way. That's why I shielded those as well. What are you doing? Stygian Zinogre is in desperate need of attention! Not an antidote. It's not quite what I was wanting to consume. Yes, what do you want? Walking towards me in an intimidating fashion. No, I just consumed one. I suppose that's my poor timing. I should have realized that there was the risk of dragon orbs coming for me again, but whatever. If you guys have changed targets, I swear to fucking God. Okay, good, you haven't. It's just Zinogre running around the map. Ugh, it's like a dance. And a dance that I'd rather not be engaging in. Probably should have just brought a slime sword and shield, you know. It would have ended up being better. I think as a group of 4 we did end up attacking the monster during the paralysis, which is good. I'm glad that we were at least doing that. So maybe I should withdraw that statement. I think in actual fact... No, what the fuck? That came out of literally nowhere. Yeah, that is true. He did a lot of body slams in a short space of time there. I just went along with it because I'm, I don't know, too jaded at this stage to even comment upon it, but yeah, you are right. He did something like 3 or 4 consecutive body slams, which wasn't very fun. But we got through it, we survived as a team. Why the fuck is this monster still alive? He's got reduced health, you know, he's one of 2 monsters. These are not full health monsters. Just getting out of the way of Stygian there. It doesn't always help to... There you go. Doesn't always help to mindlessly attack one monster while paying 0 attention to the other one. Okay, well we're halfway there. I may as well pick up this shiny and take a drink. I'm about to get hit by that. I can't turn around fast enough. Alright, just... I was not sure what the... or rather whom the target of those dragon orbs was to be, but just in case I had my shield ready. I can't take a drink now, I have to continue. Oh, that's good. We'll see if there is a noticeable difference in paralysis, weakness, or resistance with Stygian Zinogre. I think that he's going to be a little less resistant. Those 3 are in a bit of strife, actually. Alright, get out of the way, get out of the way. Dingles has died again. I don't know what he was doing in there. All 3 of them were in there together at low health, but Dingles stayed in there after the 2 of them had, you know, created some distance between themselves and the monster, but Dingles, on the other hand, just hung out in there. He was like, no, I like it here. It's cozy. Regrettably, we've ended up in a situation where one of our damage dealers is not here. And it's the Greatsword guy too, who obviously can stand to benefit most from a monster being in a stationary position. But whatever. I would say that it's fairly clear that Stygian Zinogre is not as resistant to paralysis as Zinogre. What I would actually say is that he probably has standard resistance, like what you would expect from a regular monster, whereas standard Zinogre has particularly good resistance as compared to your standard monster. I used the word standard about 3 times in the one oration, which quite frankly was inarticulate and just unhelpful. Yeah, too close to the booty. Maybe that's what it was about. Maybe he was getting in there and having a good sniff. He does seem to have an unhealthy predilection for buttocks, which I believe is the plural form of buttocks. One would imagine. It would be awkward to say anything else. Ugh. At least I have the mobility to avoid that sort of thing. You know, it is technically possible that I'll get a second paralysis. Technically possible. Although many things are technically possible, but not practically possible. it would require notable persistence from me to get another paralysis off. I'll do what I can. That's the best I can promise you. Well, the team has pulled together. Dingles, of course, has died, but the team has pulled together, and I think we're doing a reasonable job. Could be worse, technically. It shouldn't take, you know, around 50. Don't I have high-grade earplugs on this? I do, so what the fuck am I doing? I need to do a little better than that. Actually, what's going on? Wide range. Oh, I should have gemmed that in. Oh well. I knew I was lacking a skill there. I forgot to gem wide range into my sword and shield. Not that it really matters. Wide range +1 isn't very good, but it doesn't look that nice to only have 3 skills, you know. Whether there's a 15-point skill or not, it just doesn't look right. The only setup that would make that acceptable would be honed blade, and I do not have honed blade as it so happens, so can you not? Interestingly though, I do have the effects of honed blade. No, I don't. Why am I thinking that honed blade gives high grade earplugs and sharpness +1? It's attack up large and sharpness +1. Apparently I don't know the video game that I'm currently playing at all. I'm embarrassing myself. Can we stop with the backwards jumps, please? I mean, admittedly, he was jumping against a wall, so it didn't end up being too annoying. Of course, the other Zinogre has already despawned. I don't know what it is about this game, but monsters despawn very quickly. Very quickly. Ken has sent GH in the chat, rather. Tit for tat, I don't know. Anyway, he sent GH in the chat, obviously to mean good hunt, but it's a very bad idea to even seek to normalize that sort of acronym, because the reality is that GH in the Monster Hunter community means gathering hub, not good hunt. So don't do that. Just fucking type it out, man. Make it a shout. This is a game where you can literally choose shouts, so just do it. There's a loud motor vehicle outside, which may or may not be audible, but because I have drawn your attention to it, that which was only partially audible before has now become all the more audible. And there is also the possibility that it was not audible at all in the first instance. Alright. I felt as if I got fuck all out of that, just generally speaking, but I suppose we finally had a successful hunt after 38 minutes of being live, which is great. No, we did have one successful hunt before this, didn't we? What was it again? Or was that it? I don't remember. I think that was it, wasn't it? Yeah. Thanks for hunting, says Dingles. Okay, well let me leave. Fucking hell. This is always the moment of uncertainty, especially when I'm live. Is there another room to join? We've got 16 people playing. That's a good start. I can't play with Frank, unfortunately, because I have reason to believe that Frank has actually blocked me. Now, yesterday I did a live stream that I'm probably not going to save as a VOD because I wasn't all that impressed with it. You know, sometimes I'll do a live stream and I think, oh, I could have done that better. So I choose not to save it as a VOD. During that live stream, what was his name? Frank? There was a situation, okay, where Frank... and I don't like James either, by the way. I really don't like James, but I needed to take the opportunity while it was there to enter a room that was available. For the sake of the live stream. I did it for the live stream. But basically in that previous recording, which I did yesterday, which was the morning for, you know, caffeinated. That's the name of a person, not a state of being. Anyway, it is also that. I hunted with a person who... There is a fire truck outside now, which you probably can't hear, but it is still distracting for me because I can hear it. Anyway, and he is persistently honking that loud fire truck horn Makes me think that there might be some sort of blaze. Some sort of conflagration. Anyway. What was I talking about? I have a knack for derailing myself, don't I? These tangential discussions about fire trucks. I was hunting with someone yesterday, and upon my posting of a Savage Devil Joe on the board, he was like, oh, this monster's going to destroy me, I don't want to do this. And the reason why, as I suspected, was that he had pretty low thunder resistance, right? And my solution to him was to eat for, I think it's called Dragon Slayer, or Dragon Breaker, one of the two. Let's have a look. The combination is vegetable and drink. It is Dragon Slayer. I recommended that he eat for Dragon Slayer. Now, there are ways to get Dragon Res L, I think, without getting the Dragon Slayer skill. So, for instance, if we were to do this, see this here, you can get Dragon Res L without actually getting the Dragon Slayer skill. What he ended up doing was he got Dragon Res L as an effect, which actually only gives you increased resistance of 5. And he didn't get the Dragon Slayer fixed skill. Again, it's a fixed skill, it's there. You know, and I said eat for the Dragon Slayer. What I actually said was eat for the Dragon Breaker. Food skill. I felt that making it clear that it was a food skill was sufficient. He went and ate for regular Dragon Res L, and I said to him, oh, you can actually get more Dragon Res than that. You can eat for the actual food skill. His response to me saying that was to leave the room and block me. So, yeah, I was only trying to help, but maybe some people are a little hypersensitive around here. Namely that guy. And one could imagine that maybe I was being condescending or abrasive or, I suppose, standoffish about the whole thing, but I wasn't. I was being pretty normal, but I guess sometimes there is subtext to these things. Maybe my unwillingness to depart with him while we were having this conversation was, in his mind, me forcing him to do one thing or another, and he felt like I was imposing on him, and he found that to be so disagreeable that he had to extricate himself immediately from the room and ensure that he never has to deal with me ever again by blocking me. So, yeah. Whatever. Well, I wouldn't call Frank abrasive necessarily, but he was definitely sensitive. James, on the other hand, is just dumb. He is a low-functioning human being. He is not very... Yeah, he's dumb, okay? That's what it comes down to. What was the quest that was on the board again? I don't remember. Oh, that's right. I was reminded by the conversation that was taking place in the chat. Indigo Tusks Plus were mentioned. So, I was reminded of the fact that it was Sand Barioth. Now, I will use a greatsword, actually. I'm in the mood. Maybe, no. No, I won't use the Devastator Blade, whatever it's called. I never use the Miasmathist, do I? There is another... Oh, no, that's... No, don't worry about it. I don't really want to use the Miasmathist. Excuse me. I don't really know what I'm in the mood to use. Alright, we'll use the Miasmathist. I never do it, do I? Lord Zor? Asks James. Could you have some fucking respect for the fact that I might actually be getting ready for the quest? I've changed weapon types. He's actually... look at him. Apparently one question mark wasn't enough. He is so concerned for me because it's taken me a whole 2 minutes since the quest was posted to get ready. You fucking dick, honestly. Every interaction that I've had with this guy is either unpleasant or awkward. Like, we are in 3 Ultimate. This community is slow. It has always been slow. In keeping with that standard, I'm actually being pretty fast. And this guy is still concerned as to whether or not I'm going to turn up for the quest. I mean, relax. Seriously, just lie back, have a joint if you must. At best, withdraw some nullberries. Not that I'll necessarily need them for this hunt, but if I don't do it now while I'm thinking of it, I will forget, and then I won't have them when I need them. That's how that works. Why the fuck? Why in the precise fuck are you using the Schism's dual blades for a sand Barioth? Well, there was a time when 3 Ultimate players were patient. But there's a new community now. Things have changed. They are going against the grain in a sense by insisting, even in this community, for people to ready up or get ready for quests pretty quickly. Because it is just natural that on a stationary console games, things are a bit slower compared to a portable console game. I noticed the difference immediately when the 3DS games were first coming out. Just that difference in the community. Why am I going in this direction? I'm so distracted. That immediate difference, that shift from the Tri community to the 4 Ultimate community, and also the 3 Ultimate community to the 4 Ultimate community. Just the impatience. Now, that has bled into this community, because the people that I was playing with back before 4 Ultimate came out in this game no longer play. The community is totally different. It could not be more different. I would suspect that most people who were playing back then probably don't even have Wii U's anymore. So that was the situation. The community was different. There was a lot of carryover from Monster Hunter Tri back then as well. And there was just a mutual understanding, a collective understanding, I should say, across all hunters, that sometimes you need a bit of time to get ready for the hunt. Preparation is important. Whereas these guys are like, where are you? You know why? A lot of them, probably, I would say that James doesn't necessarily fit in this category. He was being impatient because he's mentally deficient. That's a little different, but part of the reason why a lot of these people are ready for hunts so quickly and expect the same to be the case for everyone else is because they've probably got almost no options. You know, they just use the same thing in most hunts, and in a lot of cases they only have to eat and then they're ready for the hunt. For me, I've got an abundance of options. So, yes, I do need about 2 minutes, if you can fucking stomach it, to get ready for a hunt. Sorry, I mean, I'm holding you back, I'm ruining your time, well, wasting your time. What I mean to say is that I'm ruining the efficiency of the time that you're spending in the game versus the amount of hunting time you're getting through that investment, but yeah, my point is that you can fucking wait for 2 minutes and shut up. That's what you can do. And now that was a lot of discussion flowing from that one foolish comment from James, which was, technically speaking, not overly rude, but you know, it was just dumb. And I felt like I needed to discuss the matter, which I have done, and I will now promptly move on. The Miasmathist is one of 3 options, really. One of 3 decent options for poison greatswords in the game. There is a spectrum to this. Essentially, it's the balance between frequency of attacking, which is in line with the application of poison. Like, that's how it relates to poison, or how it relates to your strategy. You would want to attack frequently to deal poison damage faster. And then there are the weapons that are designed to just use poison damage as a little bit of a bonus while focusing on raw damage. Now, the end of the spectrum, the weapon that I'm using right now, I believe, is the midway point. The weapon that most incentivizes literally combo greatsword so that you can apply poison as much as possible and in as short a time as possible is the Lordly Death Cap. That is a low raw greatsword, which I think has a little bit of wide sharpness when used with handicraft. That thing has like 990 poison, okay? And maybe only 960 inflated raw on the greatsword. So, obviously that incentivizes combo greatsword. It incentivizes the lack of charging. So, that's that end of the spectrum. This is the midway point, and then I think the... Is it the Chrome Quietus? Something like that. It's an awakened greatsword, which I think is really treated as a raw greatsword, first and foremost, but because it is awakened, it does end up getting some poison as well. So it's treated as status damage tacked on. It's something around 300 to 350 poison. You can see this one is instead 580. And I think possibly the Chrome Quietus also has purple sharpness, although I could be wrong. I'm sort of off target here, but maybe I can pull myself on to the head, which I was able to do. But yeah, even what I mean to say is that you could go both ways in terms of strategy with this greatsword. You could either go combo greatsword and seek to apply poison as often as possible, or you can charge it. I will be charging it because that's what I prefer to do. Bread users, you are correct, just on the previous subjects, as far as streamlining, changing the way people play. But you know what? There is a wider issue when it comes to this. It is actually the changing of generations of people. This goes beyond video gaming. I don't want to get into this to an extent where I'm having like a wider epistemological discussion about what people do, you know what I mean. The point is that the nature of the human condition is a pretty large discussion to have. Essentially, people in society now expect things to come to them or things to happen faster than it did in the past. It is the convenience of technology. It is the objective for all things that evolve to make things easier, quicker, faster. You see that in video games, here, with the streamlining of Monster Hunter and the streamlining of everything. You see that in so many areas of life that it is now a generational matter. People from a younger generation coming into this game do not have a willingness to wait in the same way that the previous generation did, because it's literally a different generation of people. It is not necessarily that they have played a modern Monster Hunter game and they're using that as their basis for how long they should have to wait. It's actually, again, more intrinsic than that. But yeah, it's just different. It's very different, and it's not unique to gamers. It's that idea where everything is at your fingertips. Look at entertainment at your fingertips. Look at Twitch. The notion that, oh, I don't need to keep watching this live streamer right now because I'm becoming slightly, not even considerably, but slightly disinterested, so I'm going to swap over to the next thing. And you almost feel like you must do that because the grass is greener on the other side, and you have such an abundance of options in that moment that you may as well just, switch to the next thing, change the channel. The entertainment at your fingertips has changed the way that people are even loyal to a particular creator. It's a really wide topic of discussion, and I think I could have articulated it better than I have done. But really, it's not just this game, it's not just gaming, it's society. There's a wider point to be addressed when it comes to that. And Bread Yeezers has summarized it in one phrase. That is not to immediately, dismiss all Zoomers as they're called, but that is a theme. That is a stereotype which has its basis in reality. Apparently we're going for a capture, which I which I'm happy to do. In trying to capture, a death has occurred. Good try, I guess. Go for the track, man. Mr. E, in complete disregard for the desires of the team, jumps in there with his switch axe. He does speak English, by the way. Okay? I realize that, you know, when I say things like that, the less cynical among you will say, you know, the more forgiving among you will say, oh, well, he probably just can't speak English. No, he doesn't read the chat. He's not paying attention. This is the reality. Sorry. Anyway. Yes, you're right. I don't know how to refer to you. Are you going to change your Twitch name so that I can refer to you in a way that aligns with your YouTube name, or what? I'm of course referring to you, Caffeinated. I'll just say Caffeinated for the moment. User Caffeinated says in the chat, streamlining for a general audience really took away from the series what made it special. Now, I'm not going to expand upon that. I'm not going to develop an argument with that as a basis, because I've done that enough times already. But that, quite frankly, is the problem. That is the problem. And that's why the series died. And some people just can't see it. One day they might see it. But for the moment, some of them still can't see it. It's not clear to them. Maybe they can accept some of what I say, but they so blindly enjoy the game that it's just like, oh, who cares, you know? Oh dear. Did my stream go down briefly? When I have my chat here and it says, for a second time, welcome to Doomlink Live's chat room, it gives me, well, it gives me a reason to assume that the stream went down. It seems fine. No, it actually didn't go down, it's just the Twitch app on my phone being shit. Who would have thought? It's difficult to imagine the Twitch app being shit. Still no Indigo Tusk Plus, says Kendall. It couldn't be a hiring thing, could it? Probably is. I'm happy to have a look. I'm not going to suggest that we do a high rank hunt because I don't want to, but yeah. What am I doing? Sand Barrioth materials. I'm pretty sure it's Heavy Tusk. Yep, look at that. Amber Tusk Plus. Wow. Apparently there's a low rank form? Oh no, that's... it would probably be better. I understand why he's doing Sand Barrioth, because, you know, this is the same color as the Sand Barrioth stuff, but it may actually be better to do this with Standard Barrioth, and again, it would be high-rank Standard Barrioth for Amber Tusks Plus. So quite frankly, this guy has no business trying to get them here. He should instead be just doing high-rank hunts. Well, Kendall has moved on, because, I don't know, he's upset. Or maybe he's taken my advice without me needing to actually share it with him. Maybe he's just going to go offline and do some high-rank Barrioth. Oh. Why? Seriously, why? I would be happy to do a G rank, Jhen Mohran. I have no desire to do a high rank one. What hunter rank is this guy? I think 135 is what I can read from a distance. James is in agreement with me, actually. I'm going to be a bit nasty, sorry. I was going to say you can solo that, but having considered that, I don't actually think that Jhen Mohran exists in the village in this game. That's only in Portable Third. So maybe he does need a group. In which case, well, look, we'll see. James seems to find himself terribly attractive. He's not even putting himself on show, it's just for him, you know. He's having a private moment with his female character. Actually, it's not a female character. I look so hot in this armor. You don't look hot, but you certainly look horny. That's for certain. Alright, well I suppose we're doing... Why is this guy only now? Listen, what he said was, it's for an axe to fight Elatrion. Why is he only now, at hunter rank 135, organising a weapon for Elatrion? Now, 135 may not sound like a very high hunter rank to some of you, but this game is very different when it comes to progression. It takes a while to hunter rank up, okay? I don't know how many hours it would take to get to 135, but if you were not specifically trying to get to hunter rank 135, easily 200 hours of this game, including what you'd be doing, possibly even including what you were doing offline, 250 plus hours, and the guy doesn't have a weapon to hunt Elatrion, presumably. Maybe he does, but he needs another one. But I'm going to guess not, because he seems to be a switch axe main, but he doesn't yet have an axe for Elatrion. Whatever. I will bring something. I'll bring this, okay? When was the last time I brought this to a Jhen Mohran hunt? I'm actually in danger of being departed, or rather left behind. I'm honestly shocked that Mr. E did not just depart with James, because in many other scenarios that would have happened. Absolutely would have happened, but it didn't. And I'm glad. This is, to be honest, a pretty inappropriate loadout for this sword. But I don't know if I have a decent loadout except for this, just for general use longsword. The reason why it's inappropriate is because A, I'm not going to be able to resist the raw with Rocksteady. B, the sharpness +1 with honed blade is not actually in effect because this is an Elatrion weapon, and yeah, overall that's pretty bad, but I guess we're just going to go with this. Fine. My general use Blademaster set was removed. I think so that I could make my Awakened Lance/Gun Lance set, which I certainly don't regret using, or having made, excuse me. But, yeah, unfortunately it was at the expense of an alternative to the set that I'm using now. Which certainly would have been nice right about now. May as well shoot the cannon. I'm not happy about this, okay? I'm frustrated that we have to fight a high rank version. Because it just feels pointless. It's easy, and like if we were doing the G rank hunt, it would still be pretty easy, right? So I'd like to at least do the G rank one. But this guy needs Brace Plus for his axe for Elatrion. Maybe it's the one he's using. Maybe he hasn't fully upgraded that. I don't know. Why this guy, I'm assuming it was James, why he felt that it was appropriate to place a bomb there and at this point in the hunt, I do not know. I'm surprised that that was not destroyed. Anyway. Or detonated, whatever you want to say. Well, this is one of the rare occasions when I'm actually going to do a high rank hunt here. In this game. I just want to detonate that bomb as soon as possible. As soon as he's within range, you know. My only throwable item right now is a trank bomb. Alright. Was that worthwhile? Probably not. What's he gonna do? Is he gonna gong? Is he gonna... No, he's gonna stand there with a cannonball? Are you for real? I don't know if that was a joke or if he genuinely fucked that up as hard as you possibly could. Yeah, he's trolling. He has to be trolling. James, let it be known, in no uncertain terms, is really dumb. But he's not that dumb. He knows how to play the game. So, you know, he can at least play Monster Hunter. So that was obviously a joke. The thing is, I do have to take time to work out whether or not it is a joke, because I know him, and he's an idiot. So, it is technically possible that was not a joke. Under normal circumstances, you would just imagine, obviously, it's a joke, but... yeah. This longsword, by the way, really strong for this hunt. Stupidly strong. Can you stop interrupting my fucking combo, for God's sake? And now I'm going to get flinched out of it again. Can I get a full combo? Is that possible? Is that too much to ask? Am I getting too impatient during this high rank hunt? I'm trying to break this before he does the attack. And that has not happened. I tried to get out of there. I was expecting to break that before he could do his tail attack, okay? I really was. Maybe high rank Jhen Mohran's got more health than I thought. I don't know, definitely if I were doing a low rank Jhen Mohran with a high rank Dark Claw demise from Monster Hunter Tri, that thing would have broken a lot faster. In fact, I would say using a Dark Claw demise back in Tri on a high rank Jhen Mohran would have ended up being about the same length of time. Meaning that would have been level appropriate, and that would have taken about the same length of time as me using this G rank longsword against this high rank Jhen Mohran. Anyway, point being, I'm pretty sure you were a bit more overpowered back in Tri. That's the sense that I get from this. James found something to be very funny. Maybe Mr. E ended up jumping on the monster just as he was throwing people off, I don't know. It was apparently funny enough to write LOL, but with what appears to be 6 O's. So I think we need the binder. Not like now, but we will need it soon. The gong's certainly not an option. I feel like sometimes you can very comfortably hit the back of the Jhen Mohran from this distance, and then other times it feels like it just hits the sand before it can make contact. It's rather strange and inconsistent. Might as well carve some Delix while I'm here. I'll leave the gonging. Yeah, we can't gong now, can we? Wonder why. Might be because someone is memeing the fucking... Yeah, he's gonna laugh at that, I'm sure. Asshole. Use the gong. In an appropriate way, not in a way that actually makes you look like a complete buffoon. And I was trying to... Oh, okay, fine. I was, indeed, trying to carve some Delex as well. Get some big fins, but no. I was robbed of my opportunity. I'm not going to tell him to do anything. The last time I told him not to do something because it was a stupid strategy, like literally a stupid strategy. This was a strategic point, not him memeing or not memeing. It was, I mean, it was a long story, but basically, the last time that happened, he became fiercely offended and was like, my room, my rules, blah, 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 and just absolutely having a juvenile meltdown over the situation. Basically what it was he, I think, was placing too many meat for a Devil Joe, you know? I think he placed something like 4 or 5 sleep meats for one Devil Joe in one area, and I'm just like, who the fuck? What happened was I said, who the fuck put this sleep meat down? And James was like, me. What's the matter? What's the problem? And then I had to fucking explain it to him. And in explaining it to him, he kicked me from the room. So I ruined his day and just kept on joining back because he didn't realize that there was a blocking feature. So I just kept on joining back until he eventually stopped playing for the day. But, you know, the conversation that did arise from that whole scenario made it very clear to me that James is, at the very least, socially inept, and at worst, actually, you know, mentally disabled in some fashion. And, you know, that's his thing. So no, I'm not going to sit here and tell him not to do what he's doing, which is using a gong inappropriately, because he's going to say, oh, my room, my rules, you don't tell me what to do. Like you're stealing candy from a child. Sorry, you can have your sweets. I won't touch them. They're all yours, young man. Yes. Mr. E is doing the infinite axe chop. I suppose it's possible. I suppose it's possible if he's doing it on a Jhen, but... And you could argue, indeed, that it would be helpful for the application of slime. But, yeah, there is, like, no other situation where it would be appropriate to do the infinite axe chop. Infinite axe drop on a Jhen Mohran to apply slime damage, that's fine. I think that's appropriate. I don't think I can do a full combo here without being thrown off. James is just going to get thrown onto the boat. So, there is a good strategy in doing what he is doing. I did not press the home button, so I don't know why the game was like, no, you cannot access the home screen. Well, as it so happens, I didn't want to access it, so thanks for letting me know. You may not have even seen that appear on the screen, but it did appear. It's a little house icon with a buckle through it. I went swimming with a Delex for a moment there. I will of course let him move forward a bit. If I believe braces drop from arm breaks, which means that instead of shooting the fucking monster from there and adding to the damage inappropriately, we need to save what health he has left to break the arms. Like, Mr. E is actually making it harder for himself. So... Ow. James is getting in there. I'm not, because I wouldn't want to prevent Mr. E from getting carves. You still couldn't hit me, you useless creature. He's gonna get me back for having said that. He still can't do it. I'm standing still. Feels like a Lao Shan Lung strategy. She is. There's not much going on, so, you know. James is like, Zor? You fucking idiot. Do I need to report my every move to you? To avoid worrying you? Zor? I don't want to be stating the obvious, but it seems to be necessary. See, how could it be that this is some unusual or novel strategy to James? A person standing in front of the Jhen Mohran doing nothing. Like, that is standard behavior in a Jhen Mohran hunt. Clearly I'm waiting for him to come forward and he's like, Zor? Why aren't you attacking? You should never be permitted to have children. Not that he ever will. But the point is that that sort of stupidity should not, you know, be allowed to continue in a cycle of reproduction. Anyway. He's trying his best, poor guy. I mean, you didn't have that fucking conversation that I had with him about a month ago. Or 2 months ago. You'd be a whole lot less forgiving. I can assure you. It wasn't a good sight. And quite frankly, it was a waste of an afternoon for me as well. I'm going to get hit, but that's fine. Unless I can Fade Slash out of it, yeah. I was able to Fade Slash out of it. Oh no, he's going to walk again. Oh, God. Can you stop walking? Alright, so he's going to end up crushing me. I need to get ready to dive. Ah! I couldn't dive in time. I was trying to... No. Ugh. This is why it's dangerous to attack the stomach, as you can see. But it is worthwhile in the sense that I'm going to get hit by that as well. It is worth it in the sense that you can knock him down much more easily by attacking the stomach like that. Which should, in theory, speed up the hunt. Oh, that was a Dragonator kill. I haven't seen one of those in a while. When was the last time you saw a Dragonator kill? It's not a common thing, is it? I knew he was close, but... That's nice to see. James is a lost cause. Oh, I see. I misunderstood. Apparently he was talking about Jhen trying to hit me, not James doing his best in general. I'm informed that James is in fact a lost cause. That is true. It was true that... he got me back though, Jhen Mohran. I was standing still for the best part of 2 minutes, while... maybe not 2 minutes, let's say a minute, while the Jhen Mohran was swinging himself at me, trying to hit me. And also trying to fire rocks at me, but failing completely. Yeah. He got me back by absolutely pummeling me later on. Alright. What's our next hunt going to be? That's the question. Hopefully something a little better than that. I don't dislike Jhen Mohran, it's just I don't want to do high rank ones. It's a waste. Perhaps not for him if he needs stuff, but really. I would rather not. I am a little worried that Mr. E didn't get what he needed. He may be checking to see if he got what he needed. We'll find out. Was it a case of him upgrading the Brachydios switch axe? I didn't end up checking to see if he had it fully upgraded. I can't immediately say with any conviction whether a Brachydios weapon would require a Jhen Mohran part in order to have it be upgraded. He's definitely not making a Jhen Mohran weapon to fight Elatrion, surely. Did you get what you came for? Asks James. Well, we're going to find out. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Because I want to be personally assured of the fact that we don't have to hunt any more high-rank Jhen Mohran. $194 longsword uses. Wow. It's my second least used weapon. Switch axe is my least used weapon. Thank God. Thank God. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine it's nice to finally watch someone live that you usually watch after the fact. I mean, you can communicate with me, it's happening right here and now, instead of usually days in the past. So I can imagine it would be nice. Apparently, Mr. E has fully upgraded whatever it was he was fully upgrading. That is good. Malak has visited the port. He is hunter rank. Oh god, please tell me that's not what I think it is. I'm seeing a number in the distance. I could tell that it was not a number between 6 and 8. Look at him go. Look at him go. You self-entitled piece of absolute garbage. That sort of behavior is intolerable. Probably a rough way to put it to him. Lol, wow, he says in response. Lol, wow. It's time for a wake-up call, asshole. That's not how you play online. You seek, or at least attempt, to communicate. You say things like, hey guys, would you be able to help me? Like, it's not hard. You were able to type lol wow, but you weren't able to politely ask if we would like to help you. James says what? Because he literally cannot perform cognitive function. Okay, this guy, it would need to be explained to him very slowly what I meant by what I just said. So, see, James probably doesn't even realize yet that this fucking guy is Hunter rank, whatever it is, 3. Okay, I feel bad now. He's actually a child. He's probably about 12 or 13. That's a little different, actually. It's very clear from his response he's actually a little kid, so... But to be honest, it's not... There is no excuse for that, because... You know, I was a kid once and I didn't fucking behave like that. So I don't give him a pass for that, on second thought. James... What are you doing, James? The reason why I was comfortably saying what I was saying was because James usually doesn't go along with this sort of thing, but James... Do I have to explain to him what's going on? This server is public. That's not the point. I'm rank 5. James can kick me if he wants, I don't care. This room information, this is important. Oh, I see. No, see how the room name is G? I have allowed that, says James. Well, don't name the room G, you absolute waste of space. I have allowed that. You're dumb. You're literally rewarding this sort of behavior. Now, some people would look at the situation and say, Doomlink, you're overreacting a little bit, don't you think? Well, no, I'm not, because I've seen this time and time again across multiple generations of hunters, and I'm doing what I can to stamp it out. Now, perhaps I should take a more polite approach if I wanted to change this person's behavior, but sometimes a bit of harsh fucking reality can change the way these people play. I literally just want to hunt. No, you fucking don't. No, you fucking don't. You could open your fucking eyes and see what the room requirements are. That's what you could do. If you don't like it, leave the room. Here we go with James again. My room, my rules. Your room has a name that's inaccurate. If you don't like it, leave. Well... That's alright. We're getting... we're not really towards the end of the live stream yet, but I suppose I'll have a conversation with James, which will result in him kicking me, and then I'll repeatedly join back until he stops playing online. I don't know, it's a bit of entertainment, I guess. It's totally different if he comes in and says, in recognition of the fact that the room is called G, hey guys, could you please help me, or can we please do high rank hunts? It's different when you do that, but he made no attempt to communicate, even though he clearly can, and he just posts it and is like, let's do it. You know, he comes in and dictates to us what we're going to do. Oh my god, there's literally only 6 people playing. Well, unfortunately... that doesn't excuse your behavior. There's plenty of people who do high rank hunts. If there aren't people doing high rank hunts right now, then that's unfortunate. But it doesn't excuse you walking in here and deciding that you have some kind of inalienable right to dictate to the room what we're going to do. That's the point. If we're here doing G-rank hunts and you just turn up, post a quest on the board, in a display of, oh, we're going to do this, that sort of behavior shouldn't be rewarded. Mr. E and James, as a pair, probably can't even form a fully functioning brain, okay? So, they can do their hunt, and I may be lucky enough to get an alternative to this room. We'll see what's out there. If the alternative to this room is a high-rank room, that really is going to be the cherry on the cake. Oh no, it literally is the only room at the moment. That's alright. Again, there's a certain attitude that you take towards these things. Maybe some would say that I'm a bit heavy-handed in the way that I approach it, but I approach it in the way that I do, because I've seen it too often, for too long, and I'm utterly sick of it. Utterly sick of it. This case is probably not even the most egregious case of what has been done here, which is just turning up and effectively begging for assistance. This guy was instead just wanting to hunt for fun, I guess, and could only do high-rank stuff. But you could see what I mean when I say that he comes into the room, immediately runs to the quest giver, posts his quest, and then stands there silently. I mean, what do you think that implies? It implies, well, do my quests. And that lack of willingness to communicate really just makes it worse. James wasn't even willing to discuss it this time around, which is possibly for the better. May have not been worth it in the end, but yeah, I'm not doing high-rank hunts with a person like that. I actually would have been willing to help him if he came in and asked and communicated, but he wasn't willing to do that. Again, I guess my greatest concern is that that sort of behavior has just been rewarded. In the end, what I said to him was rendered ineffectual because James is an unprincipled, stupid man. He's probably not even a man, he's probably a child, at least mentally. So, yeah, disappointing. We are 1 hour and 32 minutes into the live stream, and unfortunately, because I don't want to incentivize that sort of behavior online, I now don't have a room to play in, so yeah, unfortunate to say the least. I'm surprised that there are so few people playing at this time of day. I really was expecting more people to be around. It is Friday evening over there, or Saturday morning, early Saturday morning. I sort of get Malak's position though, because he hasn't made a conscious decision to be rude or stupid about it. He's been quite mindless and brainless about it. What I will actually do is switch over to Generations Ultimate. I'm not ending the live stream just yet because it's not worth it. I can switch over to Generations Ultimate in fairly short order, and we'll do it like that. What do I need to do to make this as seamless as possible? Yeah, that's not too bad. Oh shit. My switch crop was already enabled, which sucks. It means that this game has been slightly cropped, which frustrates me, but anyway. I'll be back in a sec. And because it's the Switch, I'll be able to go straight in. Fairly seamless. Just like that. How quick is that? Gives you an idea of, what a modern console is compared to a slightly less modern console. There are certain things about the Wii U that are better than the Switch, but this is pretty good, you have to admit. This is pretty good. Would I prefer to be playing 3 Ultimate right now? Yes. Turns with Arisen and Hiromi and someone else. Don't know. There are so many ways that one could interpret what just happened there. Because in the end, you know, I was outnumbered in terms of opinion, but what I want to make clear is that my principle in that situation is that that's not how you should conduct online play, and that sort of thing should not be rewarded. I stand alone in that principle, especially when I'm surrounded by idiots, which was the case in that room. Apparently these people are conducting a conversation. This game is a bit louder than 3 Ultimate, so I need to reduce the volume a bit. You are welcome to join, Beta. Should I make my own room? Is that worth it? Yeah, alright. I'll make my own room. Sorry guys, I mean, I'm sure that's going to come across as me being extraordinarily impatient. There's no hunts going on, so I'm leaving. Well, that's not actually why I left. I left because Beta wants to play. G rank. Just to make it as clear as possible, but usually, yeah, you end up with... In fact, obviously... Hold on, what will the minimum be? I'll do HR60 is the minimum, apply the range, and object... No, that'll do. Damn it! I did not intend for that. There we go. Oh. Thank you. I am still in the middle of the screen. The thing is, like, I may not have noticed that, so thank you for letting me know. That's important information. It's just so easy to, you know, it's the notion of out of sight, out of mind. If you're not actively checking the live stream window, you forget what you had done last. You know, you'd forget that you'd moved yourself to the middle of the screen. Chase has entered the room. Oh, and he's dressed up as Link. Not the real Link, he's dressed up as the fake one from Breath of the Wild that's not actually Link and is instead a sad reproduction of something that was once good but is no longer. However, he may want to do some quests. But it seems Beta shall post first, which is fine. Seems like you're well on the way to Hunt Rank 999, Beta. I guess you've been playing consistently. Did they make Link right-handed in Breath of the Wild as well? Oh, what's going on? This guy saw the quest on the board and was like, nope, I'm not doing that. I don't know what repelled him to that degree, but whatever. It's a little unfortunate, I guess. Alright. For Tigrex, I'll do Charge Blade, I suppose. Fatalis Countenance. Oh yeah, that's right. You were doing all EX Deviants. I forgot about that. That is something that I really don't want to do. I don't want a big golden crown next to my name badly enough to subject myself to deviant hunts, okay? I mean, everyone has their own thing going on, but I hate deviants. I really do. I think the whole idea is bad, and so my way of protesting it is by having a little gold crown, despite being Hunter rank 999. Caffeinated, you do realise that I've done numerous GameCube live streams of Twilight Princess, right? Both on the Japanese version and the English version. I got the original European version of Twilight Princess on GameCube back when it came out. I've still got it, it's in good condition, and in the fullness of time it has become something of a collector's item. It's a very good game, which some people for some reason have, as something of a bandwagon opinion, decided to rag on. Yeah, elemental focused sets for Sword and Shield are always good. Yeah, that's fair enough. Quite similar to what I use for Sword and Shield, I think. Tristan and Lox are here. Tristan is extremely ready to hunt. I've never seen someone so ready to hunt. He wasted no time. Well, when you say slow, I'm guessing... look, most people's gripes with Twilight Princess are... you know, having to do the Wolflink quests. Is that what you mean by slow? While I don't necessarily want to have an in-depth discussion about Twilight Princess while playing Monster Hunter, I do find that it's important to at least hear what people dislike about that game. Because as far as I'm concerned, and it's an unpopular opinion, I will admit, Twilight Princess is just a better version of Ocarina of Time, but without the nostalgia factor. Well, it's not really accurate to say that anymore. I say that from the perspective of someone playing the game back in the 2000s, but... you know. That was a long time ago. So, I'm sure that there is a nostalgia factor attached to that game now for people, but... and I suppose there would be one for me as well. I'd be lying if there weren't. But... you know. I'm not at all a fan of Ocarina of Time. It was the first 3D Zelda game and it fucking showed. Good in concept, but I don't think it was executed all that well. Get away from me. I neglected to eat, so I must swiftly ameliorate that situation. Oh. Bit of a generational change, isn't it? To go from that stuff before to this. Also playing on a PS3 controller. Bit of a different feel in the hand. Technically better, but I also enjoy the Classic Controller Pro. I did press the button to do the charge up attack. That did take place. My button input did occur, it's just you chose not to recognize it for one reason or another. Can I shield in time? Yes, I can. You registered it this time. Good job. People do tend to complain about the input detection issues with this game. They do exist. I can't imagine it's made all that better when I'm connecting with a PlayStation 3 controller to my Switch, but, you know. It is a noticeable issue. Actually, Tal, you've come late. The reason why the stream is written in the way that it is because A, I was doing a re-recording of yesterday's live stream, which was 3 Ultimate, and I was actually playing 3 Ultimate for the first hour and a half of this live stream. I have switched over to Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. But thank you for mentioning it anyway, because sometimes I do forget to update it. But in this case, it's, strangely enough, correct. I'm not going to change the game while live to Generations Ultimate, because I don't really need the Generations Ultimate audience right now. I'm not in the mood. Not that they're bad, but I've already got you guys watching, and it's fine. I'm only going to be going for maybe another 30 minutes or so. So it'll be enough time for maybe 3 or 4 hunts. I was supposed to do Red Shield, I totally forgot to do that. I feel like I'm rather out of practice with the old Charge Blade. That's why I had red files lined up to charge. It was so that I could Red Shield it and then immediately go into Axe mode. I'm forgetting how to use the Charge Blade now. And I can just rip a shield now that I think about it. Let's do that. Don't interrupt me now. There you go. Oh. No, I'm not updating it. But it would make sense to do that. I'm just not. There is a temptation to just Energy Blade this. I suppose I should. It's Energy Blade 3, it's very good. Alright. I just need to make sure that I get it on target, you know. That was nice. Because it was basically the first frame of that attack, it wasn't as impactful visually as it could have been, but it was on target. Or on target enough, anyway. One hopes that it would have hurt. I skipped white and yellow and went straight to red. I don't know how the fuck that happened, but anyway. It was literally in one attack. It didn't progress at all. Yeah, that variable frame rate for Ultimate was a bit nasty. It was especially annoying for emulation, and continues to be especially annoying for emulation. I didn't especially notice it. I don't know what 3DS you're playing on, but yeah, it would make sense that you notice a difference between frames during a hunt and when you're not hunting a monster. I was playing on a new 3DS XL, which I felt was sufficiently robust to handle the game and what it was asking for in terms of performance. But yeah. If you were to, for instance, play it on a, I don't know, Nintendo 2DS as they call it. I still remember when the 2DS was first announced, I thought it was a joke. I 100% thought it was some April Fool's shit. I was like, Nintendo 2DS? Excuse me? It was one of those reactions where I just assumed that it was a joke. 100% assumed it was a joke. It wasn't even a reaction of, what, 2DS? Really, Nintendo? It was a reaction of, I guess that's a funny joke. But no, it was real. And they did that. I get why they did it. And to be honest, the 2DS is probably a better system than the 3DS because it doesn't have a stupid gimmick attached to it. But at the time, I was just like, what? And once I realized that it wasn't a joke, that was my reaction. It was one of, what? So let me get this straight. I can't close it. And it's fucking small as well. So maybe, no, I think there may have actually been a 2DS XL. It's possible. If there was a 2DS XL, I probably would have fucking used that to play Monster Hunter. Maybe I wouldn't have gotten that disgusting Vaseline look to the top screen. Because that's the thing, people constantly go on about how, oh, don't worry, Doomlink, you don't have to have the 3D on. Well, guess what? Because the 3D top screen was a specific kind of screen, and because you needed a certain effect on the video game that you were playing in order to facilitate 3D on that top screen, games looked bad, whether you had 3D enabled or not. So, yeah, it really was stupid. And honestly, playing with 3D enabled, even... I have to admit, I pretty much didn't use... Like, I couldn't even say that I did a full hunt in 3 Ultimate in 3D. I couldn't even say that. It was tolerable at a low setting. But if you put the 3D on a 3DS to max and play for... I would challenge any person to play any game for 30 minutes with the 3D on the 3DS set to max. I fucking challenge you. If you don't get nauseous, or if not nauseous, then at least extremely uncomfortable, then kudos to you, I guess. Oh, the new 2DS XL folds. By the sounds of it, that's what... Wow. There is a new 2DS XL I didn't actually realize. Now, the downside to that may be that it doesn't have good internal specs, but by the sounds of it, and certainly on the face of it, it would appear that that is precisely what the Nintendo 3DS should have been in the first place. I need to check that out. A folding Nintendo 2DS, that's... And one that's XL size, that actually sounds like my dream system. Perhaps not my dream system. My dream system would be the PS Vita. That is a real portable system, but Nintendo would never come out with something that good, so... What do you mean, Doomlink? The PS Vita died. Well, guess what? That had nothing to do with the hardware. That had everything to do with the games that were coming out for it, which were lackluster and not sufficiently... Well, there just weren't enough of them, okay? There was no reason to get a PS Vita for a lot of people, so they didn't. But hardware-wise, it was a beautiful system, and everyone who has ever used a PS Vita can attest to that fact. This Tigrex has really taken a fucking beating. Apparently, 2DS XLs are becoming a collector's item. Jeez. Or new 2DS XLs. Which, does the new 2DS XL have the little directional nub? Like the new 3DS XL? $400 for a fucking 2DS XL. Presumably US dollars. That's disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting. We live in a strange world. Anyway. Has the directional nub as well. There you go. That's the real system that you want. I think in the end you'd still end up having a sort of ugly screen. It wouldn't be as bad, but what it's called is a 3D effect. There is a 3D effect that exists within the games on a software level, whether you have 3D enabled or not. You find this out when you try to emulate a 3DS game. When I tried to emulate 4 Ultimate, I had to basically input code to remove the 3D effect. Now, that would turn the game from looking fuzzy and grainy and honestly awful to being clean, like this game. That 3D effect is going to still be there, whether you're playing on a 3DS or a 2DS. So I'm not entirely sure that playing on a 2DS is actually going to be helpful. If that 3D effect existed exclusively, like purely, on the top screen of a 3DS, it would be fine. If the difference between a 3DS and a 2DS was that disgusting way that a game looks because of that 3DS top screen, I would be jumping for a 2DS, but again, it's software level. I'm sure it would be just a little bit better on a 2DS top screen, but not quite good enough. Not quite good enough. Yeah, some guy made a video some years ago about replacing the directional nub of a new 3DS XL with a PSP directional stick. And yeah, it would be 10 times better for fairly obvious reasons. But I don't really want to be doing that. It's not worth it, you know. Not that I'm now emulating it. I can play it on a fucking controller like a normal human being. And on a big screen. So, Hellblade G4 is what has now ended up on the board. Quite frankly, it's not your turn. Your time will come, but not now. Locks joined before you. I don't know if it's Eox or Locks, to be honest. It's one of those things, but I suppose the way it's been written there, in the chat as well, is equally ambiguous. I truly hate the non-Roman I. I've talked about this before, but whoever had the idea to have a lowercase l and an uppercase I be indistinguishable, that person should be fiercely beaten for their stupidity. You have to do the Roman I. I always do the Roman I when I write. It's because you can fucking distinguish it from a lowercase l. Anyway. It's quite frankly abhorrent. It's not embarrassing to say that you have a weak computer, specs-wise. It's something you have to invest in. It took me many, many years to do that. It wasn't until 2017 that I got a fucking nice computer. Took a long time. But I've been using it ever since, and it's a great investment. This is what you fucking post. This is what I get in place of G4 Glavenus. Alright. Fine. I will bring a blunt loadout, but... Wait, do they all have a common weakness of fire? I remember Barioth and Gamoth, but I don't remember the other one. If the common weakness is fire, then I'll just... Yeah, common weakness is fire. Alright. Maybe I'll bring a rapid fire bow. That sounds like fun. Should just be this, right? Don't think it's Clear Sky Eos. No. Or it could be. It could be load up Clear Sky Eos. My recollection... Not that. My recollection is that it's Clear Sky Eos for Fire Rapid, which would mean that it must be load up. No, I'm thinking of heavy, apparently. Let's do heavy. How about that? Rather than fuck around looking for rapid fire, I'm just going to go with heavy fire, which, to be honest, is actually better. The reason why is because they reduced the damage of rapid to incentivize people to use heavy, instead of making heavy unreasonably strong, which is probably the better way to do it, but I happen to like rapid shots, so I'm not all that impressed with that choice that they made, but whatever. I'm sure they gave a slight boost to heavy. Probably more than what rapid used to be, but still, like, it was a dirty fucking move to reduce rapid's damage. It was communicated to me some time ago that rapid, as a glitch, did less damage, but no, I think it was entirely intended for rapid to do less damage, because if you think about it, if rapid did the normal damage that it did, It's hard to imagine that heavy would be a good choice. And if heavy were to be made considerably better than rapid as it used to be, it would just be overpowered, so I understand it. I understand it. That would be Capcom making a serious attempt at balancing the game whilst simultaneously throwing the balance out the window for other things. So it does draw into question why they're even trying to balance things like bow, but whatever. We're back in this location. I actually thought we were going to be in the frozen seaway with the monsters that were put there, but that's fine. I suppose we're starting with Mr. Kezu. Can we please, actually, what was that? That was the most pathetic attempt I think I've ever seen of a monster hitting me. You flailed your arms around, you flew through the air, you landed pretty much on top of me, but still missed me. It was an embarrassment. Now I'm getting wind pressed by a fucking Kezu. Ugh. I can do power shots, but I'm not going to guarantee that I'll be doing it all the time. It's probably quite hard to get consistent shots off on the face with heavy shot. Hitting the wings of a Kezu is a bad idea. Almost no damage is dealt on those wings, but... What the fuck was that? It was not what I was meaning to do. Okay, just those two impacts on their own, very heavy damage. Get it? Because it's heavy shot. You're very funny, Doomlink. Yes. I don't know what's causing that. It must be that I'm walking away from the monster and then trying to aim towards them, but then my camera... That's not what happened that time. I don't think. No, I was... What is that? This is something that has only been happening recently, where my camera just completely shits itself when I'm using a bow. See? I was not moving away, I was moving towards the monster, surely! What the fuck is going on? How am I supposed to use the bow when that happens? Talk about ruining my DPS. Maybe I'm employing a strategy from a different version of Monster Hunter which allows for proper monster targeting, but it just doesn't work in this game, and I'm at a loss as to why my camera is switching to a direction that I don't mean for it to switch to. When in actual fact, that's what one should expect for this game, but because I play other games, I'm like, well, this is fucked up and I don't understand. I don't know. Maybe I'm making very quick backward adjustments and then aiming down, well, shouldn't say aiming down my sight, but like aiming my bow too soon. I'm not sure. I hunt instinctively, okay? While there is method to what I do, it's not always something that I understand fully. I just sort of do what feels right. I'm not changing coatings because I want to save them for the next monsters. If you can appreciate that. No, that's not good. Ugh. Barely survived that. I do have Marathon Runner with this particular set, so I'm not really in need of Mega Dash Juice. That's why I'm able to do what I'm doing right now. If you're wondering how I can manage my stamina so well, it's because of Marathon Runner. See, I'm pretty sure I was facing the monster in that situation. Pretty fucking sure. And yet I still snapped my camera back behind me. Or had my camera snapped. In literally the opposite direction to where the monster was. There must be an explanation for this. And it must be said that it's only a recent issue. Like, I've only been dealing with this for the last 12 months or so. And I've been playing this game since it came out, so... Don't know. It's weird. I'm not Well, actually, I am intentionally ignoring your conversation. I'm reading what you guys are saying in the chat, but I'm not going to contribute to it, because I don't want to have a discussion about 5th generation Monster Hunter. Do not let that discourage you from the conversation, but just don't expect me to give you my input. I'm so fiercely, intensely, and fulsomely sick of discussing 5th generation Monster Hunter. It actually demeans my live streams when I talk about it, at least in my own mind. Discussions are good. Discussions that take place in the chat are not always for the live streamer to comment upon. Sometimes there are conversations that exist entirely separate to the live stream. But I do say what I say for clarification. I have no comments. I do agree with the general sentiment though, you're right. You're certainly not going to be hearing any dissenting comments from me when statements such as, you know, well, I'm not even going to repeat them, but you know, yeah. I think the phrase, fuck the direction Monster Hunter has gone in, will suffice. It can go one of two ways. Either we will one day be understood, or our grievances will disappear into obscurity with the passage of time. One of those two will happen. What the hell was that? That looked like rapid fire rain, maybe? No, that's actually rapid fire flaming shots, which honestly, visually speaking, look pretty intense when you're standing on the other side of them. Tristan, please. Oh, maybe if he had continued attacking, this wouldn't have happened. That's my karma for complaining about Tristan attacking the Great Thunderbug. Hello, Manny. I don't know. I don't even know what that equates to, I'm sorry. The black triangles, you've sent 2 of them. I don't know if that's the bit system or if that's just emotes, but if you did send bits, thank you. I apologize for being so ill-informed. Despite being a Twitch streamer, I barely know the Twitch stuff. Like, I don't know what's going on half the time, to be honest. Ugh. The next monster is Barioth. I don't know where he starts. It feels really inappropriate to be fighting a Barioth in this area. I do like, while I do look obese in this armor, I do love how it looks from behind. These 2 scabbards pointing in diagonal directions. I like this. Hello. Let's please pull him over here so that we're not fighting him in a corridor. I suppose I'll be saving my power coatings for Gammoth. May be appropriate. He probably has the most health of all of them. In fact, he certainly does. That was nicely done. Got a good damage threshold on him there. That damage is... tactical retreat. I could not... I knew what I needed to do in that moment, but I could not actually press the buttons fast enough. I had to think about the combination. My fingers were on both buttons the moment I died. I couldn't do it fast enough. That was not a case where I could sit there and go, oh, the game didn't register my button input fast enough. No, I was too slow. That time, I was too slow. It's alright. I will be using a Mega Dash Juice this time, by the way. Because while I do have Marathon Runner, I don't want to be making use of Marathon Runner's ability with only, or Marathon Runner's effect, with, oh my god! Was that a double kill? No, someone had died before me and I didn't realize it. Holy shit, what a disappointment. Well, I apologize for dying, but I have to say that that damage that I was taking from the Barioth was unreasonable. That was more than half of my damage in one shoulder charge. So, or shoulder check. Side check? Yeah, side check. That's what it's called. Oh, that was a gold crown large Kezu. I think my first one. It is a challenging quest. I have to say that Barioth was hitting me really hard. I guess I am using gunner armor and it is a hyper monster, but I don't feel safe as a gunner while fighting a Barioth, to be honest. At least not a hyper one. I don't feel safe in the same way that I would feel safe hunting other monsters, you see. I feel like Barioth can very quickly close the distance and just beat me into oblivion. I'd love to play some Oblivion right now. You know what I'd love to do for you guys? I would love to play Daggerfall, Morrowind, and Oblivion while live streaming it. The reason why I don't do it is because I don't want to distract from what works. And you know what works on my channel? Monster Hunter. So I need to limit what I'm doing. I don't think monster size affects damage. It could. I know that there was at one time a theory that monster size affected monster health. But I'm entirely assured of the fact that it doesn't. So the question of whether monster size affects damage, I would assume would be the same answer, which is no, it shouldn't. So, I mean, I don't know where you heard that from. Maybe that was a recent addition to 4th gen that I didn't hear about, or that I heard about and forgot, but as I sit here now, my response to that notion would be no way. Monster size should not affect anything except the physical appearance of the monster. That's how it was traditionally, at least. Two glasses so far. It's a nice glass, isn't it? It's very old. It's about 60 years old, this glass. Yeah. That's why it looks different to everything you've ever seen before. It's because it's very old. But I've nothing against glassware that's older still. It's just that because glass is one of those materials that's quite fragile, it's hard to get really old glass. As well as that, depending on how far back you go, you start to get crystal, which was cut with lead, and it's not ideal to drink out of lead-cut crystal because it's lead, right? And, you know, you don't want to go too far back, that's the point. Rust Razor G1 is what you have posted after that failure. Alright. Well, most of my glasses are vintage, yes. It's got some good weight to it too. That's what you want. You want a nice heavy glass. This is probably about a kilogram, honestly, I would say. Very close, maybe 900 grams, something like that. The thing is, when I established, this is a very interesting point. I remember very specifically, I was about 8 years old, and we had kilogram weights in the classroom. Not like dumbbells, I'm talking, you know, like a very old style brass weight. It was like literally a circular piece of brass that was literally 1 kilogram. And I established what it felt to hold a kilogram in my hand. But the problem was I was 8 years old, so I've had to make adjustments in my mind since then, factoring in that I'm an adult who is not a child, you know. So a kilogram was heavier back then, that's the point. Anyway. I will bring a hunting horn. Not a fire one. Certainly not a fire one. I do have a bit of a glass collection. Not all of them have appeared. I mean, I was wheeling them all out back when I started live streaming because, you know, it was the first time that I was on camera, so I was wheeling out all of my glasses. I have a much... my collection is more vast than you might think. But, yeah, usually I only have maybe a rotation of about 5 or 6 that I bring on camera. But, you know, sometimes I'll bring a specific beer out and I have a specific glass for it and all of that, but, yeah. It's one of those things. Have I organised myself? Yes. Let's go. Well, I'll do it on camera, hey? I ended up in the secret area. Cheers. Some people drink sherry out of smaller glasses than these. I don't know. It's obviously smaller than a standard size glass, but I don't want a really small liqueur-sized glass for sherry, come on. Liqueur is consumed out of a much smaller glass because it's fucking rich. It's really rich. It's not that it's high in alcohol, it's that it's rich. And probably not something that you want to drink too quickly. Liqueur is something I cannot stomach. I'm sure there are good liqueurs out there. In fact, I would love to be introduced to liqueurs that aren't sickly sweet. But that really is my problem with liqueurs. They are sickly sweet, they are unpleasant to my palate, and I don't like drinking them. But I have some lovely liqueur glasses that I'd love to be able to use. This is the thing, I have at least 2 liqueur glasses, 3 that I can think of actually, that I really like, but that I never have the occasion to use because I don't drink liqueur. I'm not into it. Anyway. I think I pulled out one of my old Perlutken ship's home guard liqueur glasses for something on some recording that I did, but it was, yeah, not a liqueur, surely. Couldn't have been. Maybe it was. Maybe it was drinking Chambord or something. Why I would be doing that, I've got no idea. I think I got a bottle of Chambord once for some reason, and maybe that was what was going on, but... Chambord. Disgusting. I hate liqueur. Including Chambord, just for clear clarification. I want to establish it beyond peradventure that I will never actively drink liqueur unless there are non-sweet liqueurs that exist, that I have not been apprised of. I've not been playing my songs. I probably should start doing that. I think this is attack up. If it's not, then my mistake. It is attack up. And now for defense up. It is helpful to get double notes for all of them. I forget the musical theory term for those. I think the word clef is involved. Is it double? It's not a double clef. It's not a... I don't know. I learnt my musical theory when I was very young. And I had a relationship with my musical teacher that was characterized by aggression, displeasure, and a mutual disrespect. I had a relationship with my primary school music teacher that probably would have been quite a sight to behold by any person, child or adult. Oh. Sorry, Yes. Someone was pinging for the trap to go down, you see. And I didn't recognize that the pinging was actually to stop attacking. That was someone who no doubt had brought Capture Guru and was aware that the monster was capturable. I will admit that I had forgotten that it was a capture quest. What I will say, regardless of whether I could have done better in that moment than I did, I fucking hate capture quests. Because as far as I'm concerned, we succeeded there. That was a success. But because it's a capture quest, oh no, you failed. You get literally nothing from that. Capture quests, by design, are fucking terrible. Because if I, as a group, or even as an individual, have killed this monster, I am entitled to rewards. Like, that's how I feel. I am entitled to rewards. I killed this thing. But no, because it was a capture quest, I have to sit there and accept literally nothing in return for my effort. That is why capture quests are fucking terrible, and I truly believe that they were a bad idea. They were first introduced in 1st gen, but they were uncommon. They were very uncommon. They became more common in 3rd gen, specifically Try, and ugh. It wasn't good. Wasn't good at all. Alright, Tristan, I feel bad. I actually feel genuinely bad for player 3, because he has had 2 consecutive failed quests, and Tristan's like, no mate, you're not getting a 3rd try on that. Understandably. Understandably. Look, Beta, I can't guarantee that if you had sent something in the chat, I would have read it. I had actually forgotten that it was a capture quest, which meant that I was, you know, in full subconscious hunting mode, and I was in the middle of discussing my repellent English teacher from primary school, so I cannot guarantee that I would have actually known that you were trying to capture the monster. Hellblade, okay. I will bring a gun, and I will bring heavy pierce, yes, that will do. Manny is the #1 bit contributor of the chat currently. If anyone wants to, you know, steal, like literally usurp his position as best or highest contributor of bits, you are welcome to do so. No, I do say that in jest. And hopefully the humour is understood, because I have never, ever asked for donations or anything even remotely similar to that. Don't take it too seriously. What am I in need of? I'm in need of ammunition. I need PS2 and 3, and that should suffice. No, that is not what I intended to do. I'll just buy it. I may have some in my box, but at this stage I don't want to even check to see what I have and then withdraw as needed. I think I'd rather just purchase it. Apparently I've got 88 PS2 in the box and 0 PS3 in the box. The reason why I have 0 PS3 in the box is that what usually happens is I will purchase a certain amount of ammunition for a hunt, and that which is not used will, over a long period of time, end up going into the box. Whatever is left over can sometimes be put in the box. The reason why there is no PS3 in the box is because when I purchase PS3, it will inevitably be used. All of it will be consumed, and so there is never anything left over to end up in the box in the future, or over a period of time. So that's why I have no PS3 in the box. That may not be all that interesting, but it's interesting to me. Who is talking? Lord, says Tristan. Can you shut your miserable mouth? Not that you said that verbally, but for God's sake, shut up. I do not need your prompting. Oh. I misunderstood. I thought he was telling me to ready up. Actually, he was saying, Lord, capture it. He's saying it very forcefully. Okay, I'm sorry. Fuck. Sure. Or, it could be that he was both asking me to ready up and telling the team to capture it. Those two messages could have been entirely separate, but you have to admit that given what happened last time, it would be appropriate for him to specifically tell me that he wants to capture it. Alright, sounds good, Beta. This is Beta's last hunt before she has to go to work. Which sort of outlines the difference of our time zones, honestly. No, actually. You're in Japan, aren't you? That would actually make sense. You must have a midday shift. Okay. No, I'm thinking of Jenny, sorry. Jenny is the one. Sorry. Different female viewer. Jenny is the one who is in Japan. Jenny has been out of action for a period of time. She was in hospital for a little while. And I don't laugh because it's actually funny. I laugh because it's not something you expect to hear. It's like, oh, who's that other female viewer? Oh, they were in hospital. That's kind of bad. But anyway, the point is that, yeah, that's why she hasn't been very much involved. You have a night shift and you're in the US, okay. That makes sense. That's a serious night shift. That's like starting at what time is it there? Like 10 PM or something? Something like that. That was a pure estimate. If it ends up being correct, then good for me. Ugh. Come kill me, I'm here, screams Tristan with an unhealthy display of alacrity. Alright. I suppose in a way, that would be a verbal form of a war cry. Except he's yelling it. He's yelling it in words. Provocation can be helpful, but that... He's saying it again. Oh, I see. It's his automatic message that's sent when he places a trap. Who the fuck... That makes zero sense. Why would your automatic message for placing a trap be, come kill me, I'm here, in all caps? Unfortunately, a trap had been placed when Beta started writing it, so... Anyway. That is what it is. Beta insists that it's fine, which is a recognition of the fact that it was unavoidable. The trap was not placed with the understanding that the monster was being mounted, it was just poor timing. Yeah, I actually do not think that auto shouts should exist at all, because what it does is it trivializes the chat. What should be there for strategy instead becomes, you know, fucking JoJo memes and Naruto shouts. I literally had a guy who had shouts that were like, you know, Rasengan and all of this business. I physically was cringing. I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. You know, I thought I had just transported into the 2000s again, and that Naruto was the best thing since sliced bread. And, it was pretty bad. I was not impressed. It was just done. The reality is that no one wants to read your memes or your weird role-playing thing that you're doing. People want to read strategy or helpful information. We don't need auto shouts for hunter art uses. We don't need... It's helpful to have auto shouts for trap placement and bomb placement, I would say. But have it be something that we can make sense of. come here and kill me is not something that people will read and assume is a trap placement message. That sort of thing is just ridiculous. Really ridiculous. Yeah, hunter art shouts are just not necessary because nobody in the hunt needs to know that you're performing a hunter art. Nobody needs to know that. So there should... I actually do not know why they decided that it was appropriate to have hunter art shouts. It makes zero sense. It's not just the fact that people happen to misuse it, it's that it shouldn't have existed in the first place. It's a little different if people do stupid shouts for things like trap placements, because I do think that it's appropriate to have shouts for trap placements, but in the case of hunter arts, they shouldn't be there at all. So I couldn't be more opposed to the idea of it. Thank you. You attention-seeking piece of shit of a small monster. You could have been an Ugnauctor one day and now look at you, you fucker. Well, maybe that's not how it works. Maybe they don't grow up to become Ugnauctors. Maybe it's the evolutionary lottery. Some of them are born Uroctors and others are born Ugnauctors. I don't know. I don't know how it works. Ugh. Tristan does have a hunter art shout. It's, "Eat this!" I imagine some cringeworthy English dub anime. "Eat this!" You know, that sort of thing. That sort of energy. That sort of thing that makes me hold in my lunch for fear of letting it escape my mouth straight into my lap. I've got a supernova ready to go. I will time it for once the monster is down. I'll try to position myself so that the impact... There is... I've explained it before, of course. But there is a specific... There's like an ideal range for supernova. I think this is it. Nope, I missed it. Maybe it's not an ideal range. Maybe the impact is the same no matter what. But it's very satisfying when the initial, like almost the epicenter of the explosion takes place on target with the monster. One could assume that the damage is better if you do that, because what it does is it actually rewards good positioning. But I don't actually know if it's better or not. Ow. Oh, I see, there is a sound associated with it, which actually confirms that there is... I actually knew that the distance was incorrect, but what I was wondering is if if there were actually a difference in damage dealt, but if there is a special sound that takes place, that confirms it. So, usually they wouldn't go to the trouble of having a special sound for it if it didn't increase the damage. So, you are actually incentivized to position it right. We're in a specific way. Fuck right off. Whoa, that's one way to die. That's a very cinematic way to be killed by a monster. And I captured it almost perfectly. This brilliant overhead axe chop of a fucking tail swing. It really is the sort of activity on the part of a monster that is not going to result in critique from me. If a person dies because of it, it's a pretty scary looking attack. Well, if you're gonna die, it has to be epic, doesn't it? Oh, capture. 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 Beta's still going. Well, she's getting her colours at least. Will I drop a trap? No, I won't do it. Tristan literally asked for a capture and he is continuing to attack the monster. What sort of profound stupidity? Oh, you dug over there. Okay, wasn't expecting that. What sort of profound stupidity leads one to request for a capture and then continue to fucking attack the monster when it's limping? That's pretty special. Whoa. Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh my god, you know what? That's fine. I don't care. That's hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious and I don't care. Admittedly, it was not my quest, so I'm not the one who suffers as a result, but no amount of empathy that I would have for Tristan would lead me to not find that to be one of the funniest things I've seen this year in Monster Hunter. That was perfect. Oh my god. Basically, what happened, Peter, was I was standing there, okay, waiting for Glavenus to jump in the trap. And he fucking jumped in the trap alright. He jumped in the trap with a tail swing, which hit me. I went flying. I still had some health left, but I seemingly was under the effects of Fire Blight as a result of the attack, which drained the last health that I had. I genuinely thought that we had a successful capture while I was dead, but no, my death was the final death. It was either a one faint hunt or we had deaths that I didn't even... No, it couldn't have been a one faint hunt. I do remember at least one person dying. It was the guy who got tail swung the last time, but fucking hell. I got a friend request from this guy. I don't want to do that again. Tristan, I'm so sorry. I'm not doing Hellblade again. I didn't even want to do it once. Can it be my fault that we failed that? I don't know, but... Can it be considered my fault? I don't know. It was a one faint and someone got insurance? Okay. I thought I may have missed the first death then. Good to know. In fact, no, that does make sense. It was a single Hellblade, and it was G4 level. It must have been a one faint. Quite frankly, I think we deserved to fail that, and I'm pleased to have failed it in such a spectacular fashion. Why the oh, that's why you're departing with 3 people. It's just a standard devil jet. Well, fuck you too. I did want to hunt, but you were impatient. Deviant. I do not have much choice at the moment. There is a significant dearth of options, and I'm not impressed with what I'm seeing. It is 2 hours and 38 minutes since I went live, but for one reason or another, I don't feel ready to finish up just yet. I feel like one more hunt would be in order, but... Here we go. Jeff. Jeff and Dual Blood Y. What's the Y about? What's wrong with Dual Blood? Yeah, thanks for hunting, Beta. Have a good night at work, I guess. Well, that got clipped under the name of Small Flaccid Sandwich Charlie Bit Me. A mixture of a 2007 meme with the phrase small flaccid sandwich, which is definitely unique. Alright. Charlie bit me. Wasn't that video removed? I think that video was removed because it was... someone was earning money off it, and the method through which they were earning money from it would essentially mean that they should remove it from YouTube. I can't quite remember. But it happened only... Wouldn't have been more than a year ago when it was removed from YouTube. Because I happened to see it, I was like, well, I'm going to go on a bit of a nostalgia trip and check all the old meme videos, and I saw that Charlie Bit My Finger was going to be removed very soon, and I thought, well, fuck. I guess I'll have to download it then. I have Charlie Bit My Finger downloaded on my fucking computer, and it is embarrassing to admit it, but you know, it was being deleted, so I thought I should be one of the people on the internet who still has the original file. So, yeah, there you go. Oh, that's what it was, NFT. Yes, it turned into an NFT. I forgot what fucking scam was involved. Yeah, NFTs. What I'm going to do, this is an excellent way to make money, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some terrible artwork, absolutely terrible artwork, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it for a ridiculous price. And what you're going to do is you're going to see that it is selling for a ridiculous price, and then in your own mind, in such a juvenile fashion, as to assume the value of something based on the price that's been set for it. You're going to assume that it is actually worth this much. You're going to purchase it for this price. And then having purchased it for this price, it is going to automatically now be worth that because you have actually been willing to spend the money on it. But all I did was make this terrible artwork, and you've now purchased it for that amount. I now have that money. And now you've gone and taken this thing and made it really valuable. What it is, ladies and gentlemen, is money laundering. That's what it is. That is what NFTs are. It is a mixture of money laundering and the worst expression of a pyramid scheme ever invented. So, enjoy. Have your NFTs. Whatever makes you happy. I wouldn't mind NFTs so much if they actually looked good, but most of them don't. So... Of course, it's a little more complicated than that. What I just said probably wouldn't even age all that well, because I'm sure the time will come when NFTs will not be typically terrible artwork that people trade as a form of, I don't know, something. Yes, it is the future of money, isn't it? Am I in a room right now with people waiting for me? I am. Sorry, I got very distracted. What was on the board again? I don't even know. Let's go blunt dual blades. Whatever it ends up being, I have forced myself to use blunt dual blades for it. That other guy who's hunt rank 999 readied up for that hunt. Well, not readied up necessarily, but joined it very quickly. His name is Captain Picard. We've gone from 2007 references to mid-80s references, which is always good. Who just came online? Someone came online. No, I'm a next generation kind of Star Trek guy. Picard and Riker they're the guys for me. They're the guys for me. So we are hunting Chaotic Gore Magala, and I'm using something that's definitely fine for him. Nothing wrong with this choice of weapon. Oh, I do have high grade earplugs with this set. I keep forgetting. I keep comparing it to my longsword loadout for Blunt, which doesn't have high grade earplugs, much to my intense chagrin. Don't you love the fact that I'm dealing heavy fucking raw damage while simultaneously getting critical attacks off? Truly a beautiful thing to behold. What is my raw damage? I'm getting critical hits off with 423 true raw. Not inflated dual blades raw, which wouldn't actually be that amazing. It would be good, but it wouldn't be that amazing. That's true raw, 423 true raw with frequent, I repeat, frequent critical hits. Forget fucking sharpness multipliers, that's irrelevant. This is good damage. It's too bad. That's what you're dealing with. It is amazing damage. I still only have Bloodwind 2, by the way. I don't know how to get Bloodwind 3. I've not at any point made a specific or conscious effort to acquire Hunter Arts. I usually just do random quests and end up with them. So that's why I still have Bloodwind 3. By the way, I was making inquiries, okay? And I realized that when it comes to Bludgeoner, it is best to go with yellow sharpness for raw damage and green sharpness for elemental damage. The reason why is that, no, I shouldn't say that. I should say that the only situation between using yellow sharpness and green sharpness where it matters is in the case of elemental damage, because the damage of yellow and green sharpness for raw weapons basically balances itself out between the sharpness bonus that you get from the sharpness and the raw increase that you get from Bludgeoner. But in the case of elemental damage, it's not quite that way, because remember, there is a sharpness multiplier that exists for elemental damage. So you're actually better off, technically speaking, when it comes to the damage that you're dealing, to have green sharpness with elemental blunt weapons using Bludgeoner, because you do actually get that sharpness multiplier on the elemental damage. So that's the situation. This was something that I was curious about for a long time, and finally one of my viewers, whose name I forget, did some of his own research and worked that out. I think I was drunk as a skunk when he explained it to me, but it was important enough. It was actually important enough for me to actually embed that information in my mind. So there you go. I seem to recall I was sitting there in an arena hunt going, yeah, that's great, man. Something like that. Something like that. Formulating a sentence as best I could to explain my appreciation for the fact that he had taken the time to do that. It was, I'm sure it was coherent. It's just, I can't say it was an accurate representation of my state of mind at the time. I happened to be able to speak very well despite not too much being behind it. Yeah, good tail cut. I'll take all of that. Is any of this decent? No, it's not, isn't. No, not by the standards of this game. Not by the standards of this game. Sheathing doesn't exist in 3 Ultimate, does it? No, I don't think so. Or does it? How strange. I was so disinterested with Quick Sheath by the time 3 Ultimate came out that I can no longer remember if it even exists in the game. I was very excited about Quick Sheath back in Portable Third. It was one of those skills that I thought, well, of course we would have Quick Sheath for weapons like Greatsword. That's great. And also Quick Sheath for Gunlance and all of that sort of, like that style of weapon. How good is that? But then I lost interest. To be honest, I think Quick Sheath would really change the way that you'd use Gunlance. In a good way. In a really good way. And it's so interesting that I haven't considered doing that until now. I'm sure I considered it in the past, but I didn't end up making a set for it. But I think that would be a really good idea, because the reality is, the way in which you use Lance and Gunlance is dictated by the fact that you're shield reliant, you feel like you're stuck in one place, you can't get out of the way of the monster because you don't want to sheath your weapon, you should instead shield, which means you're stuck in one place again, which can be really bad depending on the scenario. Sometimes you're literally having hellfire raining down upon you, and your only recourse is to sit there and take it with your shield. Well, with Quick Sheath, you're incentivized to quickly sheath and get the fuck out of there, which is what you would do with a lot of other weapon types, such as Sword and Shield, Dual Blades, etc. I actually think that quick sheath is a viable option for weapon types like lance and gun lance. It would, I think, positively improve the way in which you would use those weapons. It may somewhat ruin the balance for the weapons, but I think it would be good. Oh, I can no longer monitor the chat, guys, because my phone died. What I will do, however, is I will take a trip to the bathroom and return momentarily. I needed to start moving as quickly as possible just to make sure that they knew that I was still here. Oh dear. It's not the end of the world, I still will be able to monitor the chat, it's just that I have to basically break my neck every time I do it. Basically, I do have a second phone that I can use to monitor the chat, but it's actually currently signed into one of my other Twitch accounts, which means that I would have to sign into my current one, which has two-factor authentication, which requires the use of the other phone, and it's like, forget it. I'll just use my computer. Oh. I don't especially want your guild card, but I'll take it. Ucarnos. This may actually be, curiously enough, the event Ucarnos. Equip it, please. This may be the event Ucarnos. Doomlink used the restroom. Renewed interest in the stream. If that's what it takes, then I suppose I should be doing this more often. I should actually have this on a schedule to most accurately coincide with average attention span levels of human beings. I don't know. Fuck. I suppose it's a form of intermission? Anyway. That's how far away I have to look to see the chat. Awkward, isn't it? That's what I mean when I say that I have to break my neck to see it. It just means that I'll be checking it slightly less often, if you can forgive me. It's almost comical to have to... Did I really just pick up a map? It feels really strange to have the map there because I never pick up the map for this location. And I'd like to think that the reason why is entirely obvious. Let me check the name again. Is this... Yeah, this is 100% the event quest. Which was bad news back in 4 Ultimate. In this game, I would imagine it's also pretty bad news. Yeah, you can see from the health of my teammates that it's not going to be an easy hunt. Not going to be an easy hunt at all. See, that combo there is scary. The idea that he jumps in one direction, turns on the spot in a 180 degree angle, and then launches these giant snow or ice balls, I don't know. Doesn't feel quite right to say snowball. Ice blocks, we could say, towards the team. That got a bit awkward there, actually. It was oh, that's why it got awkward. It's because there was a connection issue. I don't know why, it just felt like he was being especially ineffective there. I'm now looking inside of the monster. I swear I'm hearing cat meowing noises. Maybe I'm going crazy. There is no prowler in the hunt, so there should be no meowing noises. Maybe I'm having auditory hallucinations. Yeah, I'm just going to hospitalize myself every time I check a message. I'm going to have a permanent neck problem. No, it's just I neglected to charge my phone last night. And I thought, oh, it's fine, I'll just charge it in the morning. I didn't charge it in the morning, as it turned out. And consequently, I was not able to have a fully charged phone to monitor the chat today. I can only blame myself for that sort of thing. You do have to love Shield Assault, except that this monster keeps fucking jumping away from us. This monster has no business being this mobile. He's a giant piece of stone, as far as I'm concerned. Oh yes, today I will continue the Dark Souls livestream, by the way. Without a doubt. I may even whip out some fucking Delirium Nocturnum for it. Which I've never done before. I've never whipped out Delirium Nocturnum, and it's going to be fun. It should be the last recording of the Dark Souls livestream series for a little while. It'll be the last one for that particular build. I just need to kill Gwyn, basically. Oh no, I have to kill Gwendolyn as well. I must kill Gwendolyn and then do the whole Dark Anor Londo thing prior to having even killed Gwendolyn, and then I can kill Gwyn and finish things up. It may end up being a full-length live stream. Full length being 2 hours. Depends how long it takes for me to kill Gwyn. But I have a distinct feeling I'll need a few attempts. Quite a few. But I'll leave that for a bit later on in the afternoon, maybe towards the evening. We shall see. Yeah, I've got a few things that I need to do. I need to clean up the place. Sort of, you know, your weekend cleaning. And then I need to make food. Literally cook food for myself. And then by that point, after I've done both of those things, it'll probably be the late afternoon. And then I can do some Dark Souls, and then I'll be watching anime with my friend when he wakes up. So, yeah, that's my day. That's my Saturday. That's the Doomlink life. I don't need to vlog, I can just tell you what goes on instead. Ew. Vlogging. I remember Shay Carl. I remember that guy. He was the first vlogger that I had ever watched. I actually do not watch vloggers, I don't care about them, they're weird. But Shay Carl was one of the first vloggers, you see. And I watched him at the time. But I only watched maybe a handful of videos. It was fascinating, because I'd never seen anything like it. It was a novelty. But I never watched another vlogger again. Because I guess I had time to think about it and realized that it's just weird. It's just fucking odd. It's one thing to... I don't know, it's just strange. I mean, live your own life, you know? Don't sit there living someone else's life. It's just a very strange thing to be doing. It's bizarre behavior to be watching someone living their life. I'm going to try and corkscrew jab you. But yeah, I think Shay Carl started back in 2007 or so. I think I watched him in 2009 maybe. And it was just interesting, I guess, in almost a morbid way. I think I've got his name right, don't I? I think so. I hope I've got his name right. And I hope I'm not getting confused with someone else. Anyway. Has been 12 or 13 years, so I do deserve at least a little bit of leeway on that one, but... I think I'm correct. I'm definitely not getting confused with Shane Dawson. There's no way, no. Shane Dawson... Speaking of which, did become relevant again. He had a second lease on life. He was one of the big YouTubers of the late 2000s and then obviously fell into obscurity along with the rest of them. You know, Niga Higa, Smosh, Fred, Ray William Johnson, all of those, they fell into obscurity. Along with Shane Dawson. But then he came back, he fucking made a revival, oh my god, Shane Dawson. And I only found out about it through one of my friends. I was like, well, okay, apparently he has a following again. But, yeah. That was what was going on. And the only video that I had watched of Shane Dawson's at the time was one where some guy licked his face, and it was done in slow motion, like a guy just walked up to him and just licked his face, and I was like, no, sorry, this is neither funny nor clever. I'm going to not watch this. Although I, at the time, found Peter Chow, the Pyro Booby guy, I found him to be mildly entertaining. Chinese guy does X and Y. I found that to be funny at the time. I no longer find that funny. Hello, Peter Chow here! You know, I mean, that's not funny, sorry. You're literally Chinese, but are doing the Chinese stereotype, and it's not funny. Like, at the time, yeah, but that didn't age well. And I think he also remained relevant, strangely enough. I think he kept an audience through the whole, you know, mid to late 2000s, moving into the previous decade, and I can't speak for the current decade, but God, it's creepy to think that that was not the last decade, but the decade before. But yeah, wasn't good. Yeah. Well, it is one of those things, you realise, oh, those names are recognisable, but when was I last thinking about those people, you know? Like, how strange. Old YouTube was definitely a thing. It was just a reflection of the internet as it was at the time, and it was very different back then. The internet was very innocent. The only thing that endured from the old internet was cat videos, that was it. And the reason why is because cats never change. And humans will never stop being entertained by cats and the bullshit that they do. But that's the only thing that endured. Everything else just became, oh, how was this ever funny? You know, the guy going, like, singing that fucking French song while thrusting his arms in the air. People look at that now and they go, what? Well, maybe some of them find it funny. You know, looking back, admittedly, some of them are good. Like, I think I went back and watched the evolution of dance, and I was like, this is pretty funny. Like, this is good. But some of them just didn't age well, you know. Angry German Kid is still good. I like Angry German Kid. But yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. The innocence of the internet was something that was just the norm at the time, quite obviously, but once the innocence was lost, you sort of missed when things that nowadays we wouldn't find funny were funny. And yeah. Although I have to say, peanut butter jelly was never funny. That was never funny. As long as I've put that on record, we're okay. That was never funny. Because Banana Phone was slightly funny. That whole song was slightly funny. But peanut butter jelly? No. That was bad. Sorry. Sometimes I get very invested in these sorts of discussions. Yeah. I don't know if I've seen that one. Don't know. What is it? Parappa the Rapper? I don't know. Maybe if I saw it I'd know what it was, but just from what you've written, no. Although it randomly reminded me of... what was it? Fuck, what was it called? It was an Indian song. I think it was recorded in the 90s. What was it? I literally have to go through the lyrics and find the part. Tunuk tunun. No. Tunuk tunuk. Tunuk tunuk? Whatever it was. It's Indian. I'm not Indian. But that fucking... the one where he's like... Tunuk 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 tunuk, like that fucking song. Like, oh my god, that was a thing. That was definitely... that was probably the first time that Westerners saw Indian stuff and were like, what's going on here? Like, this is a thing. In a wider sense, of course. I think it was just Tunuk Tunuk. I think that's what it was called. I found that quite funny. I enjoy that song. I actually like Indian music, and I enjoy the song. I like how he sings, genuinely. And it's just a happy, fun song. I think it's a good song. But obviously the film clip was just full on. It could even be early 2000s. I don't know when the film clip was done, but the effects were ambitious, let's put it that way. I don't know, I haven't seen that video you're talking about. Somehow we have managed to continue along in this hunt without, or not just in this hunt, but in this room, without any communication whatsoever. We've just been doing quests as they come. And it's fine, I guess. No. This is before that. Manny, we're talking about before that. That was after the internet had lost its innocence. That was... what was that? 2012? That was bad. That was neither funny nor clever nor anything. That was literally a representation of the lost humor of the internet. That was the dark ages. That was like a period of maybe 12 to 18 months where the internet just didn't know what was going on anymore. That was just bad. That was not funny. And maybe no, it wasn't 2012. That was more like 2013, I think. I'm not even going to repeat it verbally because I don't want to remind people of it. But it was bad. It's not funny. It just wasn't funny, you know? Into thin air. This is a difficult hunt, actually, because the thing with Chameleos is that he is an easy Elder Dragon to fire. But part of it is that he doesn't deal all that much damage. But if you fight a Chameleos who deals heavy damage, he's actually quite difficult to fight. Genuinely difficult. Because the way in which he attacks can at times be difficult to deal with if you want to. You know what, it may not even be that he's a difficult fight if he deals good damage. I think, or heavy damage. What is instead the problem is you get used to him not dealing much damage, so you are inherently more aggressive when fighting the event version, but because it's the event version, you immediately get smacked down. So the best way to approach it is to assume that actually, if you go in there and attack aggressively, you will be aggressively beaten. That is the situation with this hunt. No, this is the standard one, actually. The one that I was thinking of takes place in the jungle. So, no, this is the standard one. Okay. After all of that, I'm sure that was something of a, I don't know, preliminary explanation leading up to an intense hunt, but it turns out that we're not going to be doing that intense hunt after all. I remembered that I have a chair that swivels, so I don't have to break my neck after all. That's the correct response. You wanted me to say something random in the chat? Ugh. That can be arranged. That's your way of knowing what the delay is like. If that came way sooner than when I actually typed it on your screen, then you know that the delay is pretty bad. But to be honest, the delay should be generally the same across viewers. Like, everyone should have a pretty similar delay, but I think some people may have a bad delay if they have especially poor connection to me. But as long as it's not more than 10 seconds, it's fine. How do I get my red? How do I get my red? Is it from your tail? Yes, it is. Okay, it's not a problem at all. I was becoming concerned without any real need to be concerned. Mounting Chameleos is actually really good fun, by the way. Oh, you motherfucker! I hope you get thrown off, just for that. He stole my mount. He's also using Insect Glaive, of course, but seriously. I'm the guy recording, okay? I should be the one to demonstrate these things. Well, how could you have been looking for someone playing World if you joined a live stream that's actually marked as Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, and I'm playing Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate? It would be understandable if you were looking for someone playing Generations Ultimate. No, rather, looking for someone playing 3 Ultimate and I was actually playing Generations Ultimate, and you were left rather displeased with the fact that I was playing a more modern Monster Hunter, but to come in here and say you were looking for someone playing World, only to be left feeling a sense of nostalgia at me playing this game? That's so out of left field that I almost don't even know how to respond to that. It almost sounds like an elaborate prank. But fine, I'll take you at your word, sure. This game, yeah, so many memories. Remember back in 2018 when I was playing this game. Yeah, about that. I haven't stopped playing it, and I haven't stopped playing any of the other ones too. Either. I prefer to say either than two. I'm getting some gracias gracias por la ayuda. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. I'm not Spanish, okay? No. Well, welcome to the live stream. This is where hunting is for real and not some generic RPG that caters for... No, I'm not going to get into that subject, but the point is that you are welcome. And I hope you enjoy yourself. Where are you? I haven't been doing mounting because I'm sort of picking up my toys and walking home, you know? What do they say? Yeah, pick up your toys and go home. That's what I'm doing at the moment, because that guy is also attempting to mount, so I'm just leaving it to him. I don't want to try to mount. Even with mounting master, it's not very... Wait, is that what it's called? Yeah, even with mounting master in this game, it's just not worth it. One mount is sufficient. I need to know where you are to be able to use extract hunter properly. Enunciate, Doomlink. Hello. It's risky to do it at this distance, but I'm doing it anyway. I said that I wouldn't do any mounting attacks, but what did I do? I went and did some mounting attacks. Because I can't help it. Alright, I will officially call you P-Berry from now on. Thank you. You have to understand, it was very uncomfortable to be in this position where I didn't know precisely how to refer to you, but now I can comfortably call you P-Berry. Good. God. You don't necessarily have to change your YouTube name to that, that's fine, as long as I have a name to refer to you by. Did you end up joining the Discord, by the way? You did. Alrighty, I will. You can't actually type in the other chats yet. Once I finish the live stream, I'll get you in properly. Bring you in properly. Whatever I'd like to say. I definitely need to sharpen up. Let's do that. This would be a very different situation if we were doing the event version. Oh, we've got another mount. I'm going to aggressively attack regardless, at the expense of my health. Stop it. Fuck! I'm trying to do my combos and I'm getting flinched terribly. Extract Hunter is very good. It of course ruins the balance of Insect Glaive, I've talked about it before. But because it exists, I can't help but use it. It's too convenient. Too enjoyable. So I believe that he has moved to the what I consider to be the Wrath area. Can also be called the Garuga area if we're talking about first gen. The Flying Wyvern area may be appropriate. Although, never mind, I thought you were leaving the area for a second. I was about to mention that you're behaving as if this were 2nd gen, which it is not. Oh, I don't need to get my colours properly, never mind. Not only do I not need to get my colours properly because I have Extract Hunter, I simultaneously do not need to get my colours properly because the HUD is over. You poor creature. You sad excuse for an Elder Dragon. With a broken back. Yeah. I do love the free camera control. One of the only things that I don't like so much about old Monster Hunter, I don't consider this to be old Monster Hunter. Generations 1 to 3, one thing that I don't like is the lack of free camera control. Free camera control makes a lot of difference. To be honest, no, actually that's not true. You can get away with the set perspectives of Generations 1 to 3 because they are what you would naturally use. Your preferences are probably comfortably covered by the set angles that they have available for you to use in the first 3 generations of Monster Hunter, but it is nice to have that freedom. So, that would be one of the main improvements of 4th gen that I can really get behind. Is that a large Elder Dragon gem? No, it's not. Not that I need one, but it would have been nice. Would have been nice. Alright, have a good nap. Thanks for hanging out, Manny. Manny has been cheering bits aggressively, and I thank you for that. I'm sure it has accumulated to make a reasonable donation. I thank you for that. My activity feed is just filled with this guy cheering bits. Never mind, it's 8 bits in total. Maybe it's not that impressive after all, but sure, I mean, whatever makes you happy, man. You know what? I do have things that I need to do today, and I will do another recording later on anyway. It's not going to be this, but it'll be something else. And upon the strength of my resistance to the idea of doing more of this, because I have things to do, I'm going to finish things up for now. I do thank you all for watching. This has been a substantial live stream, 3 hours and 23 minutes. I would have liked for more of it to have been in 3 Ultimate, but if there's no one playing, then there's no one playing. I can't really control that. But I do thank you all for watching. It was good to have Peaberry in the chat for the first time. I bid you all farewell for the moment. And if anyone wants to join me for Dark Souls later on today, I will be doing that. Bye bye for now.